Nope. I'm going full PJ. Full PJ. Countdown and then just end it after like 3 to 4 seconds. That's what I do.
Are we like live now, or?
Yeah, we're live, Optical. Jeez. We're live for the people to see. So I don't even give you guys a heads up. It's not like PJ was all professional. There, right? You just go in for it. Okay.
Oh my God.
All in.
You're supposed to have like 3 intros, man. That's how we do it, man.
Well, I'm new to this whole thing, so we don't have intros here. We can't afford. It's not in the budget, PJ. I just bought these light bulbs. Okay.
oh my God.
It's not in the budget right now.
No, it's not in the budget. Like you got to keep it real low key. But yeah, so. Yeah, so what I'll say is, we got an awesome stream for you guys tonight, and we got 3 guests here that obviously need no introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Let's start with PJ, the Rancor Tamer. PJ, how's it going?
Oh, I should rename myself the Rancor Whisperer.
Is that what people call you, or is that what you call yourself?
That's what my wife calls me. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's your boy. Thanks for having me on your first live stream, man. I feel really special. Hopefully this, you're not joking around, and we're actually going to talk about everything besides, Frozen tonight. So
Frozen, we'll mix it in. We'll find a way to make it not the main topic, but it'll be in there.
But I'm really excited, man. This is something that I'm looking forward to. So
yeah, cool. All right, so Optical, what's going on, man?
I'm the exact opposite of the Rancor Tamer. Nothing gets tamed in this Rancor.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay. I see how you do it.
No, but I'm happy, man. Happy to be here. Your first live stream. I'm excited. Let's do this,
dude. It's gonna be fun. Do you guys have? We'll get into that actually after Leal goes. But Leal, what's going on with you, man? Like anything going on with you?
Oh man, everything's going on with me today.
Oh, because you've been double live streaming.
The live stream, then we got the light boxes in, and that whole fiasco there, bro. What's up with them and their shenanigans, man? Like sending us these baby cords, man. Like,
so we're gonna talk about that because, guys, yes. I directed all 3 of them to Zavi to get these Hot Toys light boxes, right? And everyone's loving them, but there are some issues. So I want to let you guys, whoever wants to go first, can feel free to jump in. But I love them myself. You can see the Joker one right behind me. They're sick. That's Optical and I's favorite. What do you guys think about those light boxes?
I love them. See, the thing
I haven't opened mine yet, so
yeah. Okay. I opened mine and I actually plugged it in, and it would look good over top of my display. It's just that they gave me these baby cords, so I have to go to Best Buy or Target or somewhere tomorrow and pick up like an extension so I can plug it in the way I want it. But I actually got, the ones that I got, the one that I'm actually waiting on right now is the Marvel one. That one actually probably be here next week. But the 2 that I got was, the 2 that I actually got was Star Wars and DC. So it was just those 2 that I actually got so far right now.
I wonder how Zavi got them. Like, did they like go to like Hot Toys' website or warehouse?
And for so cheap.
And yeah, they were like, you know what, we're buying everything. And
cheap,
then
and the shipping was cheap as well.
Yeah, shipping was cheap
and fast.
Fast.
Super fast.
And also, like, seriously, Will, thank you so much for the recommendation, and also thank you for giving us that code after we ordered that.
Appreciate that.
I told Optical was so mad at me. Like, guys, I gave them the link and everything, and then after they ordered, I was like, oh snap, I forgot to give you guys the 10% off code. And the Optical was just like, what? I really messed up. Optical, did you cancel your order and reorder?
I didn't. No.
Oh, so you just didn't take 10%. So I just really.
I was so upset that I just went to the bathroom and just opened the shower.
Just turn on the water and just look down.
No one can see me crying.
Yeah, my jaw dropped like after because I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, $45. This is gonna go like pretty quickly. Right. And I bought like 2 of the Star Wars light boxes and one of the Marvel, and I was just like, okay, all set. And the next you know,
it's not that bad. It's only $8. Yeah, if you buy one.
Yeah,
I was like, I think it was like 10% off one item because I ordered 2 and it took like $8 off. You know what I mean? Well, I guess that's still 10%, right? No, that's right.
No, we paid $134, I think,
for 3. But I got like $10 off for 3. So, off, so I'm not sure what it was. It's supposed to be 10, but it worked. I got some money off, but maybe it was like a limit of 2 or something. But but they were pretty sick. So you guys liking them?
Yeah, I love them as soon as I can light it up. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so you guys are looking out for those, go on Zavi and check it out.
Definitely.
I wonder if like I've been checking out like some prices I kind of question some of their hot toys. I'm like, wait a minute,
right?
It says like $350 on sale for $280. I'm like, but that's retail,
right? They kind of trick you with that. But the light boxes, they were like $120 and they're on sale for like $40. So and they have, dude, the Joker one, that's optical. And I know we talked about it. Like that one is so sick. It's mirrored. It's the goat, I think. I mean, like, because it's like completely dark. It has like the blood smile and why so serious. But then when you flick the light on, you see Joker.
That's
like,
amazing. Yeah.
It's sick. It's sick. It gets fingerprints on it though, so you got to be careful. But otherwise, but like $40.
Film? I'm not gonna remove the film. Did you remove it?
I did. Yeah. Were you not supposed to?
Yeah.
I took it.
Come
off.
on, optical.
Yeah.
Dude. You don't put the you take out the film for your cell phone.
They don't.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm just surprised
he's
they got them so cheap, man. Like I mean, they were, it's definitely a deal. I mean, compared to how much it would actually cost through any other distributor. I'm like, wow.
Dude, we're just talking about it. We're gonna pick up 2 more. I feel like we want to pick up 2 more, but like, do you see those boxes behind Lyle? I just don't want that to happen to me anymore.
Right.
Every time you pick up something, it gets add up to that.
So what I did was I finally just last night got done with the space. So when you see me on the next podcast, it's gonna look totally different.
Oh,
like
nice.
This desk could be moved. I just had to move everything down because
I thought you're in a post office.
Right.
Damn, optical.
Yeah, either that or UPS, man.
I want to open my P.O. box.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm in the back of a United Parcel Service truck, and I'm just next to the back of it.
With some detops just rolling
exactly
around.
Right.
But for real, guys, if you're on Zavi, look out for those for sure, because I mean they have like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, like Joker, Spider-Verse. Optical and I know we're looking at Endgame and Spider-Verse.
Yeah, how's the DC look? Like it's just like a blue.
I think Leo has it. Yeah,
Leo, you have it.
Yeah, so all it is, it's like a blue DC sign with the Batman logo at the very bottom on the display. As a matter of fact, hold on.
You bought like
boxes.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Oh, that looks good.
You could use it like a lamp.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. It's pretty bright, PJ. When you hook yours up, you'll see they're pretty bright.
Yeah, they're really bright.
Like my Joker one, you can see it's like washing out the camera. So
PJ, are you waiting to unbox this? That's why you haven't opened it up.
Dude, I gotta do my review, man.
Dude,
are you gonna review them?
No, I was thinking about it. I want to be optical.
Not possible.
Nah, I highly doubt that.
It's not possible. All right, so guys, we got some fun topics for you guys tonight, and we got a lot of different things to talk about. And it's funny, in preparation for the show, these guys kind of sent me their list that we're going to get into. But the first thing we're going to talk about actually is probably the hot news at the moment. I'm going to pull up, hold on, this picture. There we go. Let's see. This is what we're going to talk about first, because everyone here has watched it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone here has watched it, and this is a spoiler-free zone, so we're not going to get any spoilers for the people who haven't seen it yet. We can maybe do that in another show.
King Kong died.
Oh, that's what it is. I see.
They died.
Right. They both died. It's just one big massacre. So it's the movie's called like Big Lizard Man versus Big hairy ape guy. So okay. So like basically, this is a film I think that's been pretty in demand for a while now, and something a lot of people have been looking forward to. Let's start with Optical, because you watched it in 2 sittings. Let's see, Optical, what did you think about it?
I think it's cool. I liked it. I'm not expecting the Dark Knight or anything. Like when you watch Kong versus Godzilla, you don't expect anything but action. For what it is, it's pretty cool. You see some good graphics. You see some 2 huge monsters fighting. I mean, some people are complaining. It was like, how is the ship holding them both? It's
that's what I said.
That's what I thought too. I was like, there's no way it can hold that much weight.
Dude, you asked that? You didn't ask why there's a giant monkey in there? You just take it for what it's worth. I enjoyed it. I fell asleep in the first half. I think it was kind of slow in the first half. But once they started fighting and you see those buildings like crashing down, it's like I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Leo, what about you? What'd you think?
like Optical said. I mean, you don't go. I didn't go into it, really expecting a Martin Scorsese type of, film. I mean, I didn't really pay any type of attention to like the human value of this movie, because if I did that, it'd probably been whatever. But and it was kind of slow in the very beginning, but once it got going, I got what I wanted out of two giant kaijus. I liked it. You know what I mean? I that's what I wanted. Yeah, it was just all out. If I think that basically if I could have gotten a bit more of that and less of the human value, I wanted that the whole way through. You know what I mean? But yeah. I loved it. I mean, I saw it actually. I saw it on the big screen. I actually got a chance to see it on IMAX.
No way.
How was it? Wait, first of all, how was the experience? Like, was there a lot of people though?
Bro, not so. Basically, like our Regal IMAX just opened up on the other day. Yeah. So going in, they had it nicely spaced out. And I got it basically because a friend of mine who works there got the tickets for us, and we sat and watched it. They have everybody nicely spaced out. They got the reclining seats, everything was decent.
Oh
yeah, but it was just spaced out. I mean, and the thing is, and surprisingly enough, everybody in the theater was masked up. So there wasn't any problems. They had even like where you were sitting, like they had some of the they had hand sanitizer, wipes and stuff like that. And,
wipes too. That's nice.
They had everything. So like
that's pretty cool.
They made sure that everything was and then they actually even had a process, like say for instance, if you wanted to order like popcorn and stuff like that, you can get on like it's a lot of people like for especially for like Regal. I have the Regal card, so you can actually order your refreshments and everything before you get there, and then when you sit down, you just press the number and they bring it out there to you. So they cut back on
that's
the
pretty
actual,
cool.
Yeah, they cut back on the line, so everybody was in an actual line. So, but other than that, the experience was amazing. I loved it.
I wish I had that when I was in high school when I used to watch movies. If there's hand sanitizers,
I know, right? Can I? Oh man, one thing.
I knew it was coming.
You said him, Leal. Don't set him up for those softballs because it's just way too easy.
I didn't need to use that old popcorn trick.
Oh, you're talking about the penis and the popcorn trick, the Chappelle Show trick.
Wait, where the hell you put the? Where would you? I don't even want to.
Who knows what Optical does, PJ? It's never even asked questions.
A hole underneath the popcorn, so which is like surprise.
Yeah, but what?
That sounds painful.
Oh man. So all right, I didn't want to know. I can't. Well, that's a lot of butter, right? Depending on like how much butter you put.
Hey,
it's a lot
about
butter.
Smoothness.
That's true.
Hey man.
Oh man,
Maybe down to the core, man. I'm dolphin smooth.
Leave it to Optical to make the stream go straight off the rails right in the start.
I'm hot.
Yeah.
I'm so hot.
That went straight to.
I walked right into that though.
It went strait from PG to X so fast.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I was saying hand sanitizer and wipes, I was like, somebody gonna say something. Somebody is gonna say something.
You know us too well, Leal, by now.
Yeah,
way too well.
It goes from like, oh, this is like a professional live stream to like, what the hell just happened? Oh. Yeah.
High school kids, now it's the time, man.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
So, PJ, what's your thoughts? Godzilla vs. Kong.
I was actually really excited after watching all of the trailers for it. I was like, oh, this looks really good. Like, I was in like, I think we talked about it in my previous live stream. Will, like, you and I are both see eye to eye with the previous like Godzilla and the King Kong movies. I think the last Godzilla movie was snooze fest. It was kind of disappointing. But whenever there's Kong versus Godzilla, I'm on it like white on rice or brown on rice, depending on your diet. But yeah, so like, I went in with a little bit of a high expectations. I watched the first half and I'm like, why did they even try to create a story? Like a plot for this movie. Just get us to the what we want to see, and that's the fight scenes.
Right.
So the plot is all over the place. I was trying to follow it. I was like, what the heck is this? Yeah. It felt like Fast and the Furious, like right. Just like they're trying to make a story into like out of nothing. Yeah. And when it got to the fight scenes, I seriously thought that like watching it, I seriously thought I was like on steroids laced with Viagra. I was just like, it was like I was very, I was like, I was very confused. I was like, oh, man.
He got the X-rated version. Godzilla vs Kong. You haven't seen it? It's on HBO After Dark or whatever.
You're talking about Kong versus Godzilla, right?
Yeah, I was like I was confused, man. It went from 0 to like 1,000 in like a minute. Like you went from like, okay, this is what's happening, to like, oh my gosh, here they go. Like they're like just going, like they're fighting on top of a airship or like a aircraft carrier. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I was like, how is it holding it up? How's that ship holding both?
Evenly balanced.
They both weigh exactly the same, and it balances out the ship.
Exactly.
It should just submerge because they're too heavy.
Exactly. I was just like, and
even
that was
helicopters. Who's bringing Kong?
Yeah.
Like, are you guys in sync on this one? I was like, okay, we're gonna do this elevation, guys.
Yeah, right. You know what? Although I honestly did love the relationship between the little girl and Kong. I did love that.
Yeah, I like that.
That was the emotional tug of your heartstrings type part of the plot.
I love that.
Yeah, but it was cut short. Like, once it was like, oh wow, they're fighting each other, and that's why I was like, wow, this is like seriously went 0 to like 1,000.
Yeah.
in like a minute, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it is. It's not like Lael said, it's not gonna be like a Oscar worthy movie. There's no one winning awards here. But at the same time, like, my kids, I watched it with my kids. They loved it. Yeah. Like, they just love like the fight scenes and everything. Yeah. But in the most part, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the last half of the movie.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much on the same page with this one. What I'll say is like the first half of the movie is awful. Like the human characters and stuff. Like you're exactly right. All three pretty much said the same thing. Like the human characters are bad in every Godzilla film they've tried in recent years. Like, and the first half of this movie, like, because this movie is scored really well on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was watching the first half and I was like, I am so confused. I was like, I don't understand why this movie is doing as well as it is, because it's essentially the same movie as King of the Monsters in terms of like the humans suck. They spent a lot of time on them. Like all the actors feel like they're phoning it in. I'm not sure why. None of them feel like they're trying. You know what I mean? Maybe say Lael, maybe the little girl.
The little girl, I think she gave it more of like an emotional value and that connection between her and Kong. I mean, that is what I was riding with. But everyone else, it was just like you couldn't, and it was it. I guess, and without giving too much away, it was predictable from the very beginning.
Right. It's predictable. And everyone even said what was going to happen, and it did happen like months ago. Everyone said, like, even with not showing anything in the trailers. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's definitely one of those films. It's pretty predictable. You see it coming from a mile down the road. But like the last half hour is incredible.
It's incredible. Like, it's incredible.
One thing I did say to my brother, though, I kind of miss Ghidorah. Because like I really liked Ghidorah in the first film. Like I thought he was like a total badass. In every fight with him and Godzilla, you're like, Godzilla is not gonna win this. Like in every fight, you just feel like he's up against something where you're like, how is he gonna come over this guy?
And that's why monster? I thought he should have survived. Ghidorah should have survived last film. We should have saw Ghidorah in this particular film.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have made it so much.
He was so cool.
Yeah. And then because. Anyway, we'll get into that in the spoiler discussion later.
Yeah, we will. Because can't.
Did you see that Prime Studio just released a bust?
Oh yeah, they did. Actually, they released a Kong and a Godzilla bust,
and it the Godzilla one lights up. Like it's decent. So,
I might be able to find that actually, but
I was gonna say a lot of people are like, we want a life-size bust. I'm like, are you crazy?
A life-size bust? That'd be like your house.
All right.
There's a good statue by Kong by Star Ace. So.
Oh God.
Oh, okay.
There's the plug. There's the plug.
Yeah.
Of course, Optical had to take advantage of
beautiful.
Oh
it's
man.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah. So look, here. Let's see if I can pull up the pictures. Yeah.
How would you want that though? I mean, how much is this though? First and foremost,
it's like $15.99. So $1,600, but it's pretty big. So, but the LED illumination, but like Leo, I think this looks sick. I'm not getting it, but I've seen a lot of people be super hyped for it.
I know a lot of people would be hyped for that. It just doesn't fit my scheme, but other than that, it's amazing.
But you know what, like, I like the design of Godzilla. Like seriously, like it's like a really good like whoever designed this Godzilla did a really really good job because
it's better than the what version that we get back in like was that the 90s that we got?
Oh, right. Where it's like
Matthew
a doll,
Broderick
basically.
was in it.
Yeah.
Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy's in it.
No, he did the theme song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's the sizing right there, product size. So see, we work in inches here in America, so I always have to like calculate that. Like, that's pretty big though.
That's a big scale. That's a big
PJ. I should have known. I should have known you were gonna say that. But yeah, this seems like a cool piece. They have a Kong one too. I don't think that one's. I'm just sharing my whole screen here, so it's totally fine. But I don't think the Kong one's up on the website yet.
No.
So yeah, but it's definitely something. I mean, it's $1,600, but if you guys are looking at that if you're a big Godzilla fan, I mean, I definitely think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're
I
like
already reached my max this week with the tumbler and yeah, so now.
Oh, you pre-ordered the tumbler?
Yes, I did.
Dude, I don't know, PJ Optical, you guys getting that tumbler? Because I'm thinking about it. I'm totally thinking about it.
I just sold my camo though, because it's so big. Like I don't know where to put it. I don't even know where to put these light boxes.
you bought like 7.
They sold me on that, man. I mean, just there was one particular pose that I saw, and I was like, yeah, I'd love that. I'd love to do it. So yeah, I had to pull the trigger on it because it's for me, it's an investment, and it's priced fairly decent. It is priced fairly decent. So I had to get it.
Well, I was gonna say, Optical, you're gonna have like a light box in like every even the bathroom.
That's the plan. Yeah,
that would actually be kind of cool to put it in the bathroom.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of
any girl ever. Then yeah,
there's no need for
no girls allowed.
No, there's no need for night lights. You just have like light boxes all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
That piece is bad. Like
it's pretty bad.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
What do you guys think? Optical, you've been around a little bit longer, so what do you think about the price? Because wasn't this like $475 before the camera?
$475, yeah, and then the camera was lower back then. I feel like the shipping for Sideshow for this one is gonna be ridiculous. I mean, put it this way: the regular figure is $20. This is a size of like 6 figures, like in a box, if you consider it that way. I don't think it's going to charge us 120, but I think it's going to be closer to 100.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. See that I didn't order it through them though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
This podcast is not sponsored by Sideshow, so you're good, Leo.
I didn't order through them. I went through somewhere else where I know the shipping is fairly reasonable.
Right, because I looked it up actually on Alter Ego Comics just to test it, and they'll give you a live shipping quote, like what exactly it's going to be. They said $44. So that seems fair. So I might buy it through them, but again, like if you ever have an issue with it, it's so much easier if you have it through Sideshow. Just because like if something goes wrong, it's just like Sideshow's like okay, like but with this it might be a little more challenging because they're like you have to send us back the whole thing probably.
Yeah. I mean
the flaps here is the one that's the lights. Some
much could go wrong.
Yeah. And one thing about Sideshow, man, like that's what they're the best at. It's like their customer service.
Yeah.
Trust me, like been through going through many companies and trying to get like things worked out with your product. Sideshow's by far the best.
They were great with, especially with the Ventress. What happened with Ventress. Fairly quick. Response time was quick. And so I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree. So all right, so Optical has company. So guys, let's go ahead and address the chat real quick because I totally forgot to do that at the beginning. So we're gonna do it now. Nathan, 300 on list. We should talk about 300, not tonight, but we should talk about it some other night because I did watch it again recently, and I told you guys I was like, I feel kind of the same. So,
Oh man.
Well, you guys need to watch it again. See how you feel.
I watched it like 300 times already.
300.
And 300 times we could tell you the same answer.
Yeah,
it's epic.
Nathan said the boys are back. Nathan, indeed. Nathan's actually making me a custom diorama base for my Kylo Ren. So and he sent it to me. I'm gonna review it, and he makes great stuff. So I'm gonna be doing that.
I saw that picture.
Charge like, hey Nathan, get at me, man. I would love to have one, bro.
He makes sick stuff, Leo. Sick stuff.
Nathan, inbox me, man.
Yeah.
Find me, inbox me, let me know. I put me on your list.
Okay. He's sick, man. He's sick. He's on IG. I forget his name. I'll send it to you, Leo. But
it's Han Solo shot first.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Nathan. So King Dingaling, what does there to say about him?
Dude,
my
a live
guy.
stream ain't a live stream without
Without
King
King
Ding-a-ling. First of all, he changed his profile.
No, it's the same.
It's the same.
No, I think it's the same. It's that picture has always been incredible. It still
Yeah.
is.
I thought it's the one where it's like he's pointing. No, that's the.
I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. King Dingaling, you're gonna have to let us know because yeah.
us in
Oh,
on it.
here's
Let
one
us
thing
in
he did say about Godzilla though. If you watch the old Godzilla movies, you aren't really getting deep plots or storylines either. So it's consistent, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's no surprise. You know,
Right.
I think this is definitely better than the other previous movies that were released. I don't know. I did enjoy Skull Island though. I did enjoy.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
That was. Yeah, I enjoyed that. So,
like if you guys had to pick though, the fight scenes in this or the fight scenes in King of the Monsters.
This.
Yeah.
Okay.
All day.
I think I'm with you. That last 30 minutes was pretty crazy.
It was epic. It was epic.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make it better if there's humans out there that's fighting them too, like trying to kill both.
And they could actually be useful.
Can I say something though? There was like a scene where Godzilla was fighting, obviously King Kong, and there was like people in the building eating.
Yeah.
No, you got to do.
I don't know about you, but if I heard something, I'm like, out.
Yeah, right.
Like I wouldn't be like, you know what? Let me finish this filet mignon steak that I bought. Like,
right.
Where are you gonna hide though? They're like, you might as well finish it up.
Yeah. Finish eating that apple. Or whatever.
Die with
like if you're gonna die,
just give up all hope right there. Like you know what?
Especially if it's like Chipotle.
I'm gonna die anyway. Like
you're gonna die anyway. Imagine if they cut you open and it's empty. I'd rather have them beans in there, man.
But for like the thing is, so guys, the thing is, I totally get what King Dingling is saying. It's the problem is like if the human characters and those plot lines were at least decent, I'd be fine with it. But they're awful. Like they're distractingly bad. You know what I mean?
Not the girl who has. Well, she is distracting. All right. The one.
Which one?
Father? I forgot what her name is.
Millie,
well, I was
Millie
hoping
Bobby
she wouldn't
Brown.
die.
She's in Stranger Things. Yeah.
From Stranger Things. Oh yeah.
Oh, Millie Bobby Brown.
No, the other one. The
Which
one
one?
who has she's kind of like a villain.
Oh,
Yeah, I googled her right away, man.
No, did you see? No.
I was about to say, I was like, Millie Bobby Brown's a little young. So
I'm gonna tell you right now,
man. You guys are messed up.
You know what? She was
up,
actually in what was it, Bloodshot or
Bloodshot. Yeah.
Yeah, she was actually in that. She was the character in that.
Oh, let me tell you. Please just follow her on IG. That's it. That's
I'll
all
follow
I'm
her
saying.
anywhere.
like this is a family podcast, okay? It turned from PG to X, Optical and PJ. See, Lael, see what I deal with?
But you know what? I forgot what I was about to say. I just kind of lost what I was about to say. I lost the element of what I was going to say was actually the human element of Garrett Edwards. His version of Godzilla was decent. It was just that it wasn't enough Godzilla in the film. His storyline with the humans it was decent, but he just lacked in when it comes to like our reveal or us seeing Godzilla in action. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I thought was kind of missing. But everything else, like going forward, like I love Kong Skull Island. I love that film.
I enjoyed that.
Even the human value in that was decent. You know what I mean? But I just think
Tom Hiddleston. Yeah.
Come on, man. You can't go wrong with that.
And Brie Larson was pretty good in that. Yeah.
She was pretty good. But it's just that simple fact that when you go to when we're getting into King of the Monsters and then this one, it's just like whoever is writing this film, like you need to kind of like step it up, like something different.
And like I feel like it just become like I get it, we're all there for the monster fights, but like it would be nice if they could at least make the humans somewhat interesting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I get we're there for Godzilla and Kong. Absolutely, give us as much of that as possible. But also, if you're gonna follow these human characters, like try to at least make them interesting, and they'd never be able to do it.
And unpredictable. I don't want to predict everything that's gonna happen. I can't. I don't want to. I don't need to. Just give me something where something I can just be surprised and follow their journey and but I guess it was like you had one version that was Team Kong, one version that was Godzilla, so they kind of had to mix them in. So.
And as a human, why are you guys opposed to killing those two monsters? It was like, dude, make two more.
I can't go in. Yeah, we can't go into spoilers, but Optical, you're exactly right. That's what I would say if we're talking about spoilers, because I kind of understand. Let's just say that. You know what I mean?
Don't touch those two. they're harmless. It's
Right.
like, yeah, I can see.
Right. Godzilla just
I can
destroyed
tell.
a city.
Yeah.
Like King of the Monsters, they destroy Boston, right? Like Boston is literally ash. Like it's
Like,
gone.
don't hurt them. Like,
Boston
what?
and Vegas was destroyed.
Yeah, right. I think it's Boston, the final fight, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
This Red Sox Stadium near there.
The Red Sox Stadium they destroyed. Yep.
Yeah, I lose count because they're just destroying everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, okay, well, there goes Hong Kong. there goes there goes
That's
Hot
your
Toys.
base right there.
After a while,
That's
you
so
have
much-
to think of the practicality of it, like just how much like cleanup work those road construction people in the building. Like, they're like, it took us 3 years to build that building. Godzilla knocked it down in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, there goes there's some delays happening in Hot Toys now.
But I will suggest going to see it on IMAX. You will get a totally different perspective.
Oh, I will.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Everything was like, yeah, go see it on IMAX.
We got to start a Patreon for comics because he said he watched Godzilla and Kong on one of those sketchy websites.
Sketchy website.
Got to get HBO Max, man.
We got you, bro.
Optical, we're waiting for your damn live stream, man. We're just gonna like
I know, man.
super chat your butt to.
Well, I did. The last super chat went to HBO Max. So
Oh my god, what the heck?
That's awesome. All right, guys. So we got our first big topic of the night out of the way. Let's hit our second one, and this is a really big one. So, what makes a movie rewatchable for you?
sexting.
Sex. Oh, so 300 clearly optical. That's, I mean, because we talked about 300
In slow-mo.
in slow.
I was gonna say that, man. I was like, two things: slow mo, sexy.
And if you have both, then your movie's a 10.
Oh yeah, it's a 12.
Abs.
So, because optical, the reason I thought of this topic, you mentioned something. You said some of the Marvel movies can be pretty disposable. Like you watch it once, you enjoy it, but you never feel the need to rewatch it. Like, do you feel that way about most Marvel movies, or just a handful?
Most.
most.
By
I'm the
most, I
same
mean
way.
I can count in one hand. Winter Soldier is a perfect example. I'm an adult. I saw this film. I know they're in comic books, but as an adult, your motivation is different now. When you watch Winter Soldier, what he went through and all that stuff, that's what makes it rewatchable, in my opinion. You watch, for example, as good as Guardians of the Galaxy is, the first one, it's funny. I know the jokes. I know what's coming. Like I'm not going to be there for the plot. But you watch something like Dark Knight, you see Heath Ledger's performance, or, if you want to lift weights, you want to get pumped up, you watch 300, for example. Those are the things that for me makes it rewatch. Sports movies, for one, makes it rewatchable for me.
Rudy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rudy.
Rudy and all that stuff. But comedy is really rare. As Hangover was really funny when the first time I watched it. I couldn't do it again. So
Right.
For me, Dumb and Dumber, one of the best rewatchable. I could say most of the lines in that movie.
you could be there too.
Yeah, I could be. There's Dumb, Dumber, and the Dumbest. So.
He starred in that movie, optical.
Yeah, I think with comedies, like some of the classics, like I can watch Coming to America like every day.
Oh,
Like,
dude, the
seriously.
first Coming to
yeah.
America. The second one was good, but the first one's so
The
good.
first one's incredible. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just with those what make that rewatchable is because I think back during that time, especially during the 80s and stuff like that, you didn't have such a huge spectacle. They concentrated and focused more on writing. It was less the narrative just kind of carried everything. It
Right.
wasn't spectacle, but it's like now we got into a digital world and everybody's so focused on making this big spectacle that it's less on storyline. So
I agree.
that's just the way it kind of feels.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, how you feel, like how you're emotionally. I know we talked about it before. Will it's like how you're emotionally connected to the movie. Epic scenes, epic lines that go with your epic scenes. I mean, we were just talking about it, Leal, in our live stream before. It's like, Thor was talking about Game Over, man. From Aliens. Like that is a
memorable line. Like you can things that you can kind of remember. You can remember it, and it's just memorable because of certain things that took place in the film. Like for instance, I can watch. Like if I want something that's emotionally driving me, and the only comic book that I've ever sat and actually got emotional, cried over was Logan. That was incredible. Like it was emotionally. I mean, you can actually feel the torment in him and Lost when he, Xavier, and then her losing him. It was incredible. But I mean, those type of stories, and when you can actually see and grow with the character, you can follow their development. that's what makes a great film and makes it rewatchable. If it's so like Optical said, like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, I can watch it and I might get like, you know, comedic value and stuff like that from it. But to say that I can just put it on constantly and watch it again, you know, I can if it comes on TV and there's nothing else on, I can watch it most definitely.
Right.
But, you know, But if it's Star Wars, I can watch it every day. All day.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you know, it's also something that's relatable. You know, feel good. You know, those things that hit you in every emotional button in your body. Yeah, those are rewatchable. Yeah. For me, like, you know, for example, like I cried in Revenge of the Sith, just because I was like, man, that was a dope fight scene between Anakin versus Obi-Wan, and the fact that at the end, like, you know, when Obi-Wan like chops him and like chops his limbs and everything, he goes, "You were my brother, Anakin." Like, you're like, oh, son of a, oh, that hurts.
Right.
Rudy, oh man, when they put him in, 1 minute, was it a minute left of the game? All that hard work, you're like, but that's relatable. Yeah. Anakin versus Obi-Wan, that's relatable, because how many times have you gotten into a fight with your good friend? You're like, oh man, like, or you know, with your brother, or with Rudy, like how you know, that's relatable because you know, we worked hard to achieve a certain goal, and then we achieve it, and like you relate to that. You know, when you freeze ice, you relate to that because you're a fan of Frozen.
Well, that's all I gotta do. All I gotta do is see the mac and cheese Frozen, and it's game over. It's an easy purchase. It's easy purchase, dude.
Yeah.
For one, though, character mac and cheese is always the best. For whatever reason, not sure why. Get the SpongeBob, get the Frozen, whatever you need to do. That mac and cheese craft, that's the best. Just tip of the night.
First and foremost, why are you eating mac and cheese?
Well, I don't really eat, well, like, I don't really eat it much, but, like, but when I do eat it, Optical, you don't like mac and cheese? You like mac and cheese.
I mean, you don't get a body like this by eating mac and cheese.
Neither like this either. You saw my hair and that tank top, okay? Like, you don't get a body like that eating mac and cheese often, but sometimes you just need some calories. So
yeah, but no, I think it has to be relatable. Something, you know, I think that this one makes a good a movie rewatchable, and like I said, epic scenes, epic lines, you know, stuff like that.
Do you guys find yourselves like with movies you really love? Do you find like movies you really love versus ones you like ones you like, you might go on YouTube and watch a specific scene, right? Like you might go watch epic scene, but a movie you really love, you'll watch the whole thing, right? Go rewatch it a bunch of times. Exactly. You guys find that to be true?
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. Yeah, like I find that too, but like sometimes you'll still do both, right? But like for example, like Guardians of the Galaxy, like I really like that movie. I do disagree to an extent. Marvel movies can be disposed of some of them, but I've actually found myself rewatching a decent amount of them, and I always enjoy them, right? So Infinity War the most, because I feel like that one's a little of darker of a film, you know? Like so that is tying into what Optical said in Winter Soldier too, right? Winter Soldier is a little more of like a darker political type thriller film, you know? And it really hits home because then that's, I think, like The Dark Knight has resonated with people so much because it's a darker film. It's a darker take on Batman, but it feels kind of real. Like it's grounded in reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And you know,
oh, go ahead, PJ.
I'm sorry. Real quick. You know, with Infinity War, it's one of those things where it's like it's so rewatchable just because it's like, you know, it's kind of unexpected, you know, like, and it hits you like with the emotional roller coaster, you know, with the bad guys actually winning, right? You know, losing a loved one, WandaVision. You know, Wanda losing Vision, you know, in the movie.
That was sad, man.
Yeah.
Oh, or how about Peter Parker and Tony Stark?
Dude, that man, there were so many people crying in my theater. I was like, man, I'm starting to get choked watching this. Like, it was hard.
Yeah, that was.
And when he goes, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I was just like,
yeah, I know. Everyone was like, our theater like literally gasped. Our theater was like, no. Like, I heard everyone in the theater like say that out loud when that happened.
Yeah, when that movie went on to Netflix, dude, I would fall asleep to that movie, you know? Right. I was like, oh, this is so good. So,
to me, it's the GOAT Marvel film, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, Optical. I cut you off.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, go ahead, Optical. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's a perfect example because I love Infinity War. I only like Endgame. And it's back to back. Like, I would watch the last part of Endgame any day of the week, put it on YouTube, watch it for 30 minutes, but I wouldn't sit through an entire movie. The Dark Knight, I can sit through the entire trilogy, as a matter of fact, in one sitting, because the
Mm-hmm.
entire movie is good. And on the Infinity War, we know they're coming back. No one bought that Spider-Man, Black Panther are all, into dust. We know they're coming back.
Right.
Yet the execution was so good that it's like, all right, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I think the entirety of the movie, from the setup with the Guardians getting Thor, even though it's not the finale technically, because it's the end game, I would watch Infinity War the entire movie, and I'll watch the end of end game.
Right. And Optical, I think you make a really good point there. Like, I think one of the things I heard of the criticisms of Infinity War was that we all know these characters are coming back. And I always made the argument, it's not that we know, it's that these characters don't know that. You know what I mean? These characters in the moment, we feel that because they have no idea. They think these characters are gone forever. Like, their loved one just turned to dust. Imagine what you would feel like. Like, if you literally just saw your loved one turn to dust and you were like, what just happened? And they're just gone, and they're just gone forever. So the characters don't know that, and that's what makes it impactful for us.
And you know what makes Infinity War even more impactful? I think what makes it more impactful is that and to go with what you said, do we know? I mean, because the thing is, do you know that these characters are actually coming back? Like, you can say that, but there were a couple of surprises. You know,
Vision and Loki didn't really come back.
Exactly. So they didn't. But I think what made it even more impactful is the simple fact that we see, pretty much what puts everything in perspective to me right now, seeing that Black Panther scene and when he passes away and knowing what happened to Chadwick now, that scene, you know what I mean? And just it was so powerful to him to say, get up. It's not our time to die, you know what I mean? And then to see that, and then going back and watching the Black Panther film, I can watch that from beginning to end constantly. And I think it's just more so because of the storyline, but also because of people like Killmonger. There are people like him now who basically feel as though, living under impoverished conditions, people, those things speak so, highly for society right now. So I can watch those films because it actually has meaning. But there are certain films that, like you said, Infinity War versus Endgame. I can watch the second half of Endgame all day, every day. But the first part is just it's really slow. It's a slow build up. And I guess they have to do it, so we can, find out what happens to these other characters and stuff like that. But I definitely understand that.
My only gripe with Endgame is that I wish they didn't introduce a time traveling movie as the last movie. Yeah. I wish they explained it I don't know, throughout the whole first phase or second phase or something like that. But it's time travel. I'm going to tell you guys, the best movie that executed time travel well, Back to the Future, right? And everything else,
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Terminator kind of, but
Terminator kind of, but it you're right. But it's just so hard to I watched Heroes, that TV show on NBC. That was so good until they start introducing time travel, and it's all over the place because you lose people, you lose the audience because there's so many technical factors and so many things that you need to get right. It's almost like the butterfly effect, right? You change something, it's going to change this and that and this and that. So it's really hard to introduce that as the last movie. And that was my problem with Endgame. But the last half, like you guys said, all day, every day, Infinity
Russo Brothers doesn't like that idea, or do you think that's their idea? The time travel?
I guess
think it was.
Yeah. I think they just wanted to do something different from the comic books.
I think it's just the way their execution was in this film was a bit off because
it was slow.
It was slow, and on top of that, their method of explaining time travel, just certain aspects of it made absolutely no sense. Whatsoever. So
But let me ask you guys. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
No, just real quick. And it just came to dawned on me why is it always the first half of something example, Empire Strikes Back is better than Return of the Jedi. Why is it that no one can really execute the ending? Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Why was Kill Bill Volume 1 so much better than Volume 2? You know what I'm saying? And then this one, Infinity War is, well, in my opinion, so much better than Endgame. Why is that? Why can't people stick the landing?
Lord of the Rings did it.
Lord of the Rings. I was about to say.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Most people. Well, a lot of people love Two Towers, but most people love Two Towers or Return of the King the most. Yeah. They're both excellent. But PJ, that's a really good question. For most films, that is the case. But Infinity War is very much Marvel's
Matrix.
It's and Infinity War is very much Marvel's Empire Strikes Back. Like it's like their darkest, best film. The bad guys win, right?
Yeah.
And it's like and it ends kind of on a sour note. Like it's very much an Empire film, and I think people like that because it's different, But I don't. Yeah, that's a really good question. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's the emphasis. Like they put so much emphasis on the cliffhanger, on basically a big, huge cliffhanger. That by the time you actually get to the next film, it's like, okay, now what else can we actually do? Because we know that at the end of this film, the good guys have to win. But I think that if you just added more element of loss throughout the film, that we can actually, feel that continuation from, like, for instance, with Infinity War, I wanted to feel that same gravitas, that feeling. I wanted to have that throughout the entire, and the in-game experience. But, it was that slow build in the beginning of the film that kind of makes you say, well, I don't really feel it. Like, I'm not feeling that connective tissue. But once you get to certain parts and then you get to the end, it's like, okay, now I feel that again. The struggle through loss. But I think that they basically just put so much emphasis on that, sticking that landing when it comes to the cliffhanger, so it can have that intro into the next film. Like, I think that they do that so much that it's less focused on what they have to do in the next film. So
like Frozen 1 and 2. Like,
well, that's true though, man. Frozen 1 is a classic, and Frozen 2
that's you.
No, but see, here's this next comment is one I want to bring up actually from King Dingaling. So, we're talking about memorable scenes, right? Since we do collectibles too, do you guys take a memorable scene and like always put your figures in that pose from that scene just to give you that connection? You guys do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So, like, for example, like
Joker looking at his clock, his watch all the
time.
Do
you like this Keanu shopping scene? That would be a really cool one to do. I mean, there's so many guns that come with that figure. I mean, so so you guys do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, for when I had the Keanu Reeves Matrix figure, I had him like posing like upside down, like
right.
with the.
I saw that one.
Yeah,
did it hold him well? Did the base hold him doing upside down like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big base. So.
Yeah. Because I had that figure and I eventually sold him, but it was definitely a pretty cool one. It's just I love the Matrix. I just didn't have as much of a connection. When I saw it was like $350, I was like, I think I'm gonna sell. So.
I recreated the scene of Jedi on Endor when Luke turns himself into Vader. I kind of recreated that scene with both stormtroopers in the back, Vader talking to Luke while he's handcuffed. So
nice. Okay. And look at this, guys. I have, I guess, another person with my same exact name.
I'm so sorry.
Name is also
so yeah. So this person, they got to be cooler than me. So you can't do worse. So
it's hard to do, not to.
Exactly. Oh, you PJ's in host mode.
Sorry, I just had to ask that question. I was just because you know what it is too. Like, what the heck? Like, I just like, for me, what pissed me off was Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Like, Volume 1 was so good,
right?
The ending was so good, but then like Volume 2, you're like, what the hell is this? Like, ugh.
Right. I like Volume 2, but but I get what you mean, PJ. But like, as far as Lord of the Rings goes, optical, you're the biggest guy for this one for sure. Two Towers. What's your favorite? You like Return of the King or Two Towers?
I like Two Towers. I just like the human element where they're protecting those humans behind that wall. Especially, I guess the video game really helped out on that.
Yeah, and Helm's Deep,
playing
man.
the video game.
I love that. I love that video game.
It's so the video games are so good. The Return of the King game was good too.
Yeah.
They need to remake those.
Thumb sores because of that game, man.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Going up, going down.
The best like movie video game ever. I mean,
Helm's Deep was the hardest.
It was hard.
So hard.
Yeah, I agree.
It was hard.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of video games, you know what movie I would watch first before I play Call of Duty, like the World War II one with the D-Day scene? I would watch Saving Private Ryan
to get you in the most. That scene is like one of the best scenes ever in a film. Like it's incredible. And that's the opening scene of the film. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lunacy. But like, so like another one, I think an example, PJ, you talk about sticking and landing in the third one. What do you guys feel about the Dark Knight trilogy? You think they stuck it? Dark Knight Rises? It's not Dark Knight, obviously.
It's not his idea. Had Heath Ledger didn't die. So they got to improvise, like last minute. Because it feels like totally disconnected to the the world that they created. The good thing about the Dark, because I think what I liked about the Dark Knight is they stayed true. Because Nolan is trying to create. I know it's hard to make us believe that Batman is real, but he kind of did.
Yeah.
And he took risk, like he killed Two-Face and he was dead.
Right.
This is not Civil War where there's two factions. At the end of the day, the biggest casualty is Rhodey being quote unquote paralyzed, yet he can still ride. There's no casualty in that. This one, Two-Face died, and Batman was like, there's some real ramifications on the movie, which makes it good in my opinion. But I don't think that was his plan all along.
Right. Do you think Joker was definitely coming back then?
With the success of Dark Knight, no question.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I agree. I would. It felt like it felt off. Like 1 and 2 was such a smooth transition from the first one to the second one, but then the third one was like a little bumpy. You're like, wait a minute, what the? It doesn't feel right. Like something's off about this last movie.
I appreciated the Bane element, though. I did actually.
Bane's incredible.
Bane was incredible, and also I appreciate the backstory, and also on top of that, like just Batman's Bruce Wayne's struggle in intense, like him getting his back broken and have to come back from that, taking a while. Like it was epic, but I mean, come on, man, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. That's
right.
You can't.
Well, you can't top Dark Knight. That's the thing. I mean, like without Heath Ledger, like Tom Hardy was amazing, but like you can't top Heath Ledger's performance. I mean, like it's unbeatable.
You can't.
I mean, it's literally the GOAT in my opinion. Like
I agree.
I've never seen a better acting performance in my life, and that's why we all, PJ, you and I have like 3 Jokers, because like I love the Joker character, but like Heath Ledger's performance, like I've never been more captivated by a performance than that. Like I was just like
the lengths that he went to with that, like what I mean, like psychologically, even him coming out of it, and I think that contributed to like why certain things happen, like what I mean, like
I know,
so submersed in that character and the things when he said he actually psychologically went through. It's like like you gave the performance of your life, bro. Like that was amazing.
And basically he was taking those medication because he couldn't sleep, like because he went through that rigorous method acting to get that performance, and that's unfortunately that's what happened.
He felt real. He felt like a real person.
That entire world felt real. Like you feel like Batman could really exist.
And that's the thing. Like that's when you humanize the character. I mean, you humanize the environment, and it makes you feel like you can actually exist in that world, like it's going on right now as we speak. That was the element of the film that kind of captivated a lot of people. So like, and it's, I mean, going from that into Dark Knight Rises, it's kind of hard to, I mean, especially you lose, such a high caliber actor as Heath Ledger, and to try to repeat that same thing. Like you said, I do believe that Nolan didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? He probably had other plans and then kind of had to improvise and change things up.
Right. But do you guys think it would have been a retread at all to have Joker be the villain again? You know what I mean? We all would have loved it, but would it have been a retread?
Joker's always been like Batman's like arch nemesis for like the longest time. It would be cool to see like some of these other characters be like like sub villains and stuff, and he still be the main like villain. But it's always been like it's like the yin and the yang. Like it's always Batman versus Joker like the whole time. And for example, like in Justice League, that's just at the end, the whole nightmare scene is because of, Batman's conflict with Joker. That's why he called that truce, and that truce is supposed to, that's supposed to kind of like, if Batman just wasn't so selfish or wanted to kill Joker so much, that that nightmare scene wouldn't have never happened. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that pretty much Heath Ledger set the gold standard for how to play Joker, and then you basically see everyone after, Joaquin Phoenix, and then you basically see Jared Leto. Even when you're watching them, you still see that they are. It's not a competition, but you can still see remnants that they've actually tapped into. They're trying to use. They're looking at Heath Ledger's performance and say, okay, we gotta have to kind of take elements of that and create our own. But you can. You just can't touch it. Like you just, it's just untouchable. I mean, the thing is, it's like growing up, you see like, the original Batman, and you actually see like Jack Nicholson's performance of Joker, you're like, he killed that. And then you see like, Heath Ledger come around, and it's like, okay, wow, like I think he took it to another level. It's like, where can you go from there? So,
Yeah. And all right, guys, so that's an awesome discussion on the Dark Knight Rises trilogy. And PJ, great point there. You know what I mean? Because that's definitely like, films do, I think, in the third installment of a trilogy have sometimes a hard time sticking the landing. Lord of the Rings is the gold standard. They stuck all three. And Dark Knight, I like the Dark Knight Rises a lot. It definitely has some issues. It's not Dark Knight, but Bane is incredible for me. I think there are definitely some issues like Talia's death scene. Just awful. It's really bad. It's really bad. When I watched it in theater, I was like, was like an editing error or something? Like it just felt like wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still a good film overall. It's still satisfying, like because the ending is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ending is what makes that film. And I didn't like how Bane went out, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things.
Well, at least Heinz Ward scored a touchdown.
He did. Heinz Ward scored a touchdown.
Dude, did you guys know that Robin was that guy? What's his name?
John Blake.
Cop.
Yeah.
I didn't know that up until the end of the movie.
Right, until the end. Yeah. Well, like I think it might have just been kind of like a slight wink to the camera by Nolan saying like, "Hey, he was kind of Robin." You know what I mean? But also, on this discussion, this is probably a whole nother discussion. How is he going to be Batman? He has no training. Like, you know what I mean? Batman was trained by League of Shadows to be as badass as he is. Like, this guy's just been a cop. Like, he can't be Batman.
Alfred.
Okay.
Alfred's gonna train him. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, probably enough on the Dark Knight trilogy here. So I got it actually scrolling across the screen here. But what we're going to do now, we're actually going to get into a very interesting discussion here because this is going to be top 5 Marvel, DC, or Star Wars characters. So this can be any of the 3. It's top 5 overall. It's not top 5 Marvel, top 5 Star Wars, top 5 DC. 3 from the combined universes. They could be all 5 DC, all 5 Marvel, 3 Star Wars, 2 Marvel, whatever. Okay? So with that said, who wants to go first given theirs?
I'll go first because I think I'll have the most boring one in here.
All right, Optical. Do you want me to show the audience yours up front?
Sure.
You want to talk to them? Okay.
Yeah, mine's kind of predictable.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least it's a good mixture. Mine's pretty predictable.
So let's see. Yeah, let's see, Optical. Explain. What are your thoughts on these 5?
Batman, it has pretty close to my heart because I love the Nolan trilogy. I don't even like Batman, but after Nolan trilogy, I put it in a different standard. Spider-Man is always constant there. Spider-Man has always been there. That's your inner teen from Spider-Man. Even though you're 50 years old, 60 years old, you still kind of relate to Spider-Man and the things because you remember your teen days with him. Iron Man, he wouldn't have been there had not for Robert Downey, to be quite honest with you. But Robert Downey's portrayal of it, catapulted him from nothing to number 3 for me. Superman is, just Superman as a young kid. I mean, let's be honest. No one wanted to be Captain America when they were kids. It's mostly Superman or Batman. Maybe now the kids growing up now because Captain America is quote unquote cool, but back in the 80s, it's all about Superman or Batman. And number 1 is Joker from The Dark Knight we just talked about. This is me talking as an adult. I've never seen such a performance. I never liked Joker. Never liked Joker before Heath Ledger. Never liked Joker after Heath Ledger. So for me to love that entire franchise or that character for one character is, that's why I put him as number 1.
Got it. So those are some pretty good justifications, Optical. So let's start with PJ next. So PJ, let me pull yours up and let's see if people think these are predictable.
I think it's pretty predictable. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we'll start off from the bottom all the way going to the top. Starting from the bottom. Okay. And anyway, number 5 is Mandalorian. And the reason why I love the Mandalorian is because, the state that the Star Wars universe was in after the sequel. And Will, please, it was just my opinion. The state that the Star Wars universe was in after the sequel trilogy.
No, I understand.
Whether you liked it or not, it divided the fans. The prequels kind of did, but this one really divided the fans even more, especially in the environment we're living in, where Facebook, the internet, we all have different opinions. People are fighting back and forth. I found myself in that position as well, where I would have seriously the amount of conversations that I had, I would have wrote a 30-page paper. You know what I'm saying? Discussing why I disliked the sequel trilogy. but the Mandalorian like single-handedly brought back Star Wars. And we see it with the merchandise, we see it with all these new shows and movies, all these spin-offs from that show. Baby Yoda merch everywhere. It's crazy. Everybody is loving Star Wars now. I mean, we got Optical, who is a DC guy, watching some like of the older movies and some of the older shows. So that's why Mandalorian's number 5 for me. Number 4, Luke Skywalker, just because he's the symbol of hope. Like he's got the hero's journey. He went from like this guy, just average dude, to finding his path, his purpose. And we see him from this annoying like kid to like a Jedi Knight by the end of the trilogy. So he's a symbol of hope. Number 3, Boba Fett, obviously because I'm a big bounty hunter / Boba Fett fan. I just love that character. With the Mandalorian, we get to explore how badass he is. I mean, even though like for how many years, for 40 years, we didn't know how badass of a character Boba was. It was always one of those playground conversations that you had with your friends, like, yo, Boba could kick so and so's butt and this and that, and people be like, no, he can't. Well, he didn't do nothing, But then we got to see that, and yeah. Anyway, going off in tangent here. Sorry about that, but I love Boba Fett. Darth Vader. Some can argue that Darth Vader and Anakin are the same person. No, they're not. Obviously, Darth Vader was one of those guys that is like, has such a presence when you first saw him on screen, and you're like, who is this bad guy? And it's probably one of my first exposures to actually rooting for the bad guy in a movie or a show, whatever. But when you saw Vader, I was like, wow. Who is this dude? Like, how did he become this person? And Anakin Skywalker, I feel like the reason why I have him as number 1, and it's just one of those things where as we grow up, we struggle with things that we had potential with, right? Like, you're destined to do something, right? But then life gets in the way, or misguidance gets in the way. And you just end up like not living up to that potential. And I feel like that's why like I like him a lot, even though some people say like Hayden Christensen's acting wasn't all there, but it's just like like the flaw of this hero just really brought him from being like the chosen one, the person, to going down this path of darkness and then being redeemed later on in the original trilogy. So sorry, I went a little bit.
No, that's good. That's what I want. I want explanations of all these, because I think it's fascinating to hear how characters affect people differently.
Yeah, and I just think like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I just feel like sometimes like like whether or not like when you're a young kid you wanted to be a certain thing, or certain I don't know, you want to go work in a certain job, or and then things just happen, and and I just feel like this is the same thing with Anakin. Like he was supposed to be the chosen one, the person to bring back balance to the Force, and I mean, which he did, but it just his path to that really was very somewhat relatable.
Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. All right, Leo, I'm gonna put yours up here. Let's see what we got.
All right.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This surprised you, PJ?
Very.
He gave me these before the show, and I thought they were pretty cool too.
Very well versed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I start with 5. Maul, Darth Maul is just because, like I said, when we seen him on screen for the first time, it was like unlike any experience you've ever seen before. I mean, that was the first time we got a double-bladed lightsaber. He was the man of mystery, the character that we kind of follow throughout, wanted to know more about. And I think his introductory, even though, like I said, people will feel the way they feel about the prequels. We know this. Maul's story in Phantom Menace was pretty much really, really, really interesting to me. You wanted to know more about that actual character, and seeing that we've gotten developments. They brought him back, and we kind of got his story more fleshed out. Love the character. Doctor Strange, it was mainly because, like I said, again, when I was young, Strange Tales was like pretty much one of the first comics that I purchased, and I saw Doctor Strange in it. And it was like, I never thought in a million years, being young and, just, going through the different ages and, the decades, that we would actually get Strange on camera, on film, and done this particular well. I love the Doctor Strange film. I love Benjamin Cumberbatch's portrayal of the character, and it's memorable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a character that was so flawed, arrogant in the very beginning. To come into his own, he had to go through like the fire just to kind of, get a glimpse of heaven. So, you know what I mean? It's just his struggle and who he is as a character, and how far he's come in the cinematic universe. And I know we're going to see some more of him going forward. Martian Manhunter. Now, the reason why I say this, and it's because we only seen him briefly on camera, but it's because he's always been my favorite DC character. You know what I mean? Of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I love his backstory. And people to underestimate Martian Manhunter's power scale. Him up against Superman, and even Superman himself has said, look, that's been one of my toughest opponents. Like, I would never want to get in a battle with this person. So, seriously, like the Martian Manhunter, and then actually finally see him on screen, and see how much of a presence he has and potential that we could actually, how far we can go with this character. Hopefully we'll see him on screen again. But I had to put him there because, like I said, it was amazing seeing him on screen. Black Panther, of course, like I said, Chadwick Boseman, played the character to a T. Finally getting the chance to see that character on screen that we never thought we would actually see, especially me, anyone who's a minority, man of color, you know what I mean? Actually finally seeing someone that looks like you on screen, and everybody basically embellish this character. They embrace it, you know what I mean? And, right, may rest in peace. Hopefully we'll see. I mean, I have my feelings about the whole not recasting. I'm probably one of the minority who basically feels as though they should, because T'Challa's character has so much richness to it, and it needs to be fleshed out a bit more. Like, people need to see this character and how the development of that character, not just Wakanda itself, but the character has so much rich storytelling and stories to tell. So I'm just hoping that they can kind of give me a better, if they're going to do it that way, then at least give us a good film. Hopefully they, do it a tad bit better. And finally, Vader. It's because, like I told you, 1977, seeing that character on screen and running out of the theater, and then my dad bringing me back in and then having me face my fears, and then just following. I used to draw Vader, in my tablets and stuff like that, trying to get the perfect. And it was just like his presence on screen. I mean, no wonder why they basically say he is the most iconic villain of all time. It's just mainly presence. When you saw, New Hope, you saw, Empire, you saw Return of the Jedi. Vader, you will always remember, seeing Rogue One and seeing Vader come at the very end of. My daughter, who's a Star Wars fan, I raise her well.
You did.
Give her a shout out.
Yeah, she's a Star Wars fan. When she saw that on screen, she applauded. She stood up. She damn near wanted to run down the aisle because she loves Vader. So yeah, it's just, come on. James Earl Jones, most iconic voice that you couldn't have nobody else voice this character at all. It's just the presence. It's all off of presence. And yeah, that's pretty much my top 5 and why I love him so much.
Nice. That's an awesome one. So I'm wondering if I'm going to shock. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That one's actually a little bit teaser. I wonder if I'm going to shock anyone with this list. Probably not. But what you think here? You might be seeing a trend.
I'm surprised with number 5.
Yeah, you might be seeing a little bit of a trend here. So there's a lot of villains on this list.
Villains.
So not sure why exactly. I've always just gravitated more towards the villains. Like, Loki's kind of a complex character. So, I mean, they all are to a degree. But, I really like the villain for some reason, because to me, there's nothing better for a film than a really good villain. Like, I don't agree with them, but I respect their presence in the film and value it,
Exactly.
Like, because a lot of there's been some good Marvel films with some crap villains. I guess like Ant-Man, for example, it's a good film. Like, the villain's okay. Like, there's some other films out there like that just don't have great villains. Marvel's gotten better with that. But overall, like a lot of the films I end up truly loving, like they have characters villains that I've really attached myself to. You know what I mean? So for me, Thanos, there's no other way. I had it was a tough call at number 5, but I knew I had to include him in this list because with Infinity War being like one of my favorite films, I don't want to spoil anything, but definitely an incredible experience. I'll never forget that theater experience when he came on screen. He is the main character of that film. No doubts about it.
Definitely,
and
his journey. It's his story. Yeah.
It's his story, absolutely, Leo. Perfectly said. Yeah, it's his story, and it's his movie, and he captivated me and that's why I liked him so much more in Infinity War than in Endgame. Because in Endgame, he feels like a different character. Like he is. I mean, and purposely, he's just like a generic villain, kind of. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that depth. He doesn't have those layers. Because it's like 5 years sooner, Thanos. He hadn't gone through all those experiences, so that's their argument. Like he's more warlord at that point. You know? Like Infinity War, he's kind of like, you can tell he feels the pain with Gamora. Like he's talking about how he feels like he has to do this, but he doesn't really want to hurt people necessarily. Like he just feels like he has to do this because it's his destiny. So and with good villains like these, pretty much, him and Darth Vader alike, you can talk about how they have a strong belief in what they're doing is for the good of people. You know what I mean? So that's what I really like about him, Thanos, and Darth Vader in particular. And Thanos, just him being able to destroy half the universe, that's not something a lot of villains can say they did. So
I think he wanted a reset, right? You know?
Yeah.
So. He thought it needed to be balanced, the world.
Yeah.
So, the universe. Definitely. So, and Darth Vader, that's just, you have to include him in this list. He's one of the iconic characters of all time for a reason. It doesn't even matter which portrayal you pick, A New Hope, you know, Rogue One, because that Rogue One scene might be my favorite Star Wars scene ever. That scene in Rogue One with him in the hallway, man, I don't know if I've ever seen a better Star Wars scene than that. That was that. I remember in theater, I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this is if Star Wars had been made today, that's what Vader would have been doing in a lot of the films. At the time, they didn't really, have maybe the technology to pull a scene like that off. So, but today, they can do it. And
it was like a horror film. It was just basically watching horror when you saw it. It was amazing. It was a masterpiece.
I seriously wish I filmed my reaction when Vader came on screen, because the whole time, I was like, okay, where's Vader? Where's Vader? We got to see him with Krennic. I was like, oh, that's a cool scene, but man, I hope that's not it. I hope that's not it. But then in the end, when he came and the lightsaber lit up, I was the only one clapping in the movie. People thought I was a psychopath because he was chopping down the good guys, and I'm like, yeah. And then people were like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? He's going for the bad guy. I'm like, come on, it's Vader.
That's kind of how I am too, man. I'm the same. But PJ, you make a good point. I empathize with the villain, the good ones. You know what I mean? Because I understand, and we'll get to Loki in a sec. That's him and Kylo. I can definitely understand, a lot more. Joker is just Joker. I could say this about any Joker, really. I have the Joaquin Phoenix Prime 1 Joker because I love that one too. I love that portrayal. It's a very different Joker. And to be honest, I hated it in Suicide Squad, but in Snyder Cut, that Joker was sick. That's the Joker I wanted to see, because I would like to see a movie more with that Joker, with maybe Zack Snyder or someone else like that helming it, because the Suicide Squad Joker is awful in my opinion, but it's clearly third, well distant behind the other two. But that Suicide Squad Joker was really, the Snyder Cut was really good. But Heath Ledger, his Joker is just, guys, it's like we said, it's the best performance ever put to film in my opinion. It's incredible. Pretty much I'm gonna buy, if they announce a DX20 hot toy, I'm in. And I have enough Jokers. Okay. There's a Joker right behind me lit up on a box. And so and I think all of us, including Optical, probably are gonna be in if DX20 is Joker. Right.
Then I got DX11.
See, but we can't pass on it. It's too good. Except if the product's not good, obviously, which there are some of those out there. But if the product's good, Heath Ledger likeness, then it's. But his I saw this movie in the theaters, The Dark Knight, and I was just enamored. I was in high school, so I was in high school and I saw this film and I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen a performance like this. And I remember actually before it came out on Blu-ray, or it was DVD at the time actually, but. Before it came out on DVD, I was watching it on websites that filmed it in the cinema, because it was gone out of theaters by then. And I was waiting for it to come out on DVD, and I wanted to watch it again so badly. So I had to watch it on sites like that. But he's incredible. And then Loki, I love Loki because I think I understand him. You know what I mean? He's such an empathetic character to me, because he makes sense. Like his entire purpose, and I'm actually a big Thor 1 homer. Like I really love Thor 1. And the reason for that is mostly because of Loki. Because like his entire purpose, his scene, actually, if you guys rewatch that scene where Thor finally shows back up to Asgard with his powers, right? And they argue, and Loki actually starts crying. Like he's like talking to Thor, and Thor's like, "What are you doing, this madness?" He was like, "No, like I just wanted to be your equal." He was like, "I just wanted to prove myself to Father. Like that's why I'm doing this, and you just don't understand." Like he always feels inadequate, and I think we can all relate to that in some way. You know what I mean? Like wanting to prove yourself to someone, feeling inadequate, like going to great. He does that in Avengers too, just to prove himself. And like he wants recognition because he feels like he hasn't had that because he feels like he pales in comparison to Thor.
I
So
mean, you're
like,
finding out like when you look at the character, like him finding out that he's really a frost giant, a child of a frost giant, and you know what I mean, going from that, you know, just knowing that your entire life has been one huge lie just to kind of protect, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, when you look at it from his standpoint, you got to understand, like he felt as though, like, look, you know, Odin, you were selfish not to tell me. You know what I mean? That's just a sign of selfishness to not to tell me who I am. And you know, you just disfigure like how much more or how much more tame the character would have been if he would have just knew who he was.
right.
You know what I mean? At the very beginning. But this is like now, you know, and like you're really not my father. So that now I have to prove even more. And now I know why you didn't let me be king, or I wasn't next in line to be king, because you know what I mean? You didn't trust me. I'm the child of a frost giant. So what am I supposed to think? So you know, when you look at it from
I love too in Infinity War, before he dies, he accepts it. He's like Odin's son. Like he accepts like he's Odin's son. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I love that dynamic. And Loki's just to me such an incredible character. Like I can't wait for his show, but like he's just awesome. And Kylo Ren, this was really tough. I swapped Loki and Kylo Ren back like 3 times. Like it was so tough because Kylo Ren to me, like, and I get a lot of people don't like Kylo Ren because he's kind of like
love Kylo Ren.
Well, like I get kind of the Vader copycat thing, but that's his character. I mean, like that's like he's supposed to be different than Vader. Like he's supposed to be like he's not as calm as Vader. You know what I mean? Like he's angry, he has these outbursts, he destroys things. Like I think that makes him a little unpredictable, and I like that because Vader's more calculated and cold and like ruthless and thoughtful. Kylo's like sort of emotional. So like
highly emotional.
Yeah, and I like that he's kind of unstable, and that's like why his lightsaber's like that too. And his lightsaber that's a big part of his character. I've never fallen in love more with a lightsaber than Kylo's. Like I love
that cross guard. Just the preview of like Force Awakens. You see that cross guard when it just popped out. I was like, yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, and the biggest reason probably to me is because Kylo was absolutely my gateway to Star Wars. Like he was like I had watched Star Wars when I was younger, the original trilogy and such, but The Force Awakens is really truly what made me a Star Wars fan because I saw that film, I fell in love with Kylo Ren, and I started building a costume. He was my first first approved costume. He's such an emotional character for me that I have a connection to because he made me a huge Star Wars fan.
Exactly.
And like and it was my first costume. I have all this Kylo merch. Like he's just, and I love Adam Driver's portrayal. He's one of my favorite actors because of Kylo, and just Kylo's just always going to be my favorite because of what he means to me personally. You know what I mean?
Did you see Adam Driver? What was the movie called? It was him and Scarlett Johansson. What was it called?
A Marriage Story.
Dude,
that's some of the best acting I've ever seen.
It was amazing, bro. I watched that like 7 times, literally.
The fight scene is incredible. It's on Netflix, but it's on YouTube. That scene, if you guys want to watch it.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, you know, for me with Kylo Ren, like he would definitely have ranked up a little higher, but you know, for me, I just felt that his character had a little disservice towards the end of the trilogy because he was like really, really consistent. And one thing about the sequel trilogy that I loved was Kylo. It was Adam Driver's acting. I think that's what held. That was the one thing that was consistent from Force Awakens all the way till the end of the trilogy. But you know, whoever changed the ending, because I heard there was multiple endings shot. I really wish that Kylo didn't die the way he died.
Right. I wish he didn't die too. I think it's because they knew they weren't going to be able to get Adam Driver back ever again for anything else. So they were just like, let's just kill him because he's never going to come back.
I agree, but I just wish that he sacrificed himself better.
Right.
You know, I think if he I don't know, just went at Emperor, killed him, and end up killing himself as well, I think that would have been more impactful than what we saw in that.
I'm one of the ones, and I'm probably amongst the minority that did not want a redemption story. I didn't.
Really?
I wanted him to be evil to the end.
Yeah.
I did. I wanted him to be evil to. I wanted that because basically his thirst for power. I mean, you killed your father.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no going back from that. You know what I mean?
A lot of people, he was already damned for that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you killed your father. You killed
Han
Han. There was
Solo.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. There was no going back. You had already basically stepped over that line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want, I mean, because I just wanted, I mean, because to me, without that redemption story, if you just basically make him, you're making a new villain, a pliable villain that we can actually follow, and then maybe give him that redemption later on down the line. But just like Anakin, we saw an origin story. You know what I mean? Basically, he became, you know, who he was straight to Vader, he was tormented, but he was evil at that point. You know what I mean? Like it was, you know, no going back. You accepted the dark side. This is who you were. You know what I mean? So yeah, most definitely.
Hey, you know what it is too, and the reason why I want it, it's like a double-edged. I don't know. It's one of those. It's very conflicted, right? It's because basically there was nobody that had the Skywalker lineage, you know, and to end the Skywalker lineage with, you know, the last of the line to be a bad guy, just would have been like, just I don't know, would have just put a bad taste in my mouth, like. I think, and that's one thing about the sequel trilogy I didn't like, and not to get into it too much, it's just that it was just kind of like all over the place, you know, like there was no consistency, there was no end game. And then we get situations like this where, okay, this director did this, or this writer wrote this, but then now how we're going to do that with this character now? Like he's dead, like you said, like he's damned already for doing what he did. And he's the last of his line. There's no other Skywalkers.
No.
You know, there's no, you know, Rey, you know, without her identifying herself as a Skywalker, she's not a Skywalker.
She's not a blood Skywalker, yeah.
Exactly. And that's it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a tough situation. And kudos to JJ for taking on that task, because knowing the fact that, you know, no matter what he did at that point, like no matter what story he wrote, there was going to be someone complaining, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of Star Wars in a nutshell. But I mean, that's any fandom. That's any hardcore fandom. Anything.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, if we think about the Return of the Jedi, like everything ended like that's it. Like everything.
Right.
There's no conflict. There's no debates. That's it. That's the end. It's done. With the ending of the Rise of Skywalker, there's like, could have went this way. Could have went that way. I wish they would this. You know.
Right.
Like we got an end with Return of Jedi. Like that's it.
Right.
Like Emperor's dead. Everyone's happy. You know, the Wicket and everyone else is celebrating, you know. So
right. And Joe kind of makes an interesting comment here. Like maybe Kylo Ren should have lived in exile. Might have been cool. Would you guys have rather seen him be alive? For sure.
I would much rather see that than a love story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah. They just
I'm telling you, there is. I'm telling you guys, I hope that there is like someone releases a JJ cut, because supposedly there is. There was
like a JJ cut?
There is a JJ cut. There was multiple endings that was shot. And I think executives got in the way and had to change it to fit a narrative. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But we'll never know until we get the hashtag trending, release the JJ cut.
Or there's another sequel. The Star Wars fans are going to love this. There's
definitely going to be.
We're
going to get sequels
after something comes out. So.
Yeah, dude, it's true, man. Like, and that's an interesting topic. We'll probably hit on another time. Like the element of time and how it changes perception. Because like the prequels, obviously everyone hated when they came out. Yeah. Like maybe Revenge of the Sith was okay, but the other ones, and now everyone loves the prequels. So not sure why that is. I'm honestly, guys, I'm calling it. Give it 10 years, people are going to like the sequels. I'm calling.
Save your Force Order Stormtrooper, guys.
Yep. It'll be $500.
Well,
that thing probably still won't be because you can't pose it. Dude, I got the thing. I really like it for the price I got it for, but posing it is a nightmare. I agree. It's horrible. It's so tight.
Might as well not pose it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just museum poses the whole way through, and maybe lift the arm with the blaster. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And that's even hard to do, Leo.
Yeah, it is.
That.
It is.
On the previews, they were like kneeling. Remember, like the heavy.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, how did you pull that off?
Yeah,
I hated those figures. I hated those figures. But I mean,
Kylo Ren is amazing. I love my Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren's, yeah.
The first
All of
one,
them.
I love the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Last Jedi one sculpt's really good. But yeah, go ahead, PJ. Sorry.
I was gonna say no. I agree with you in terms of like it will get better with time, but why there was such a big love for the prequels was because of the sequels.
Yeah,
they hated the sequels. Now they
Right.
realize
Now,
right.
no,
That's true.
that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Really, people went back and said, "Oh man, I miss George.
Mhm.
Oh man, you know the prequels aren't that bad. At least they're." So
But
there's a lot.
Look at I laugh at this all the time. That man sold Lucasfilm for $4.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he sold it just for them to actually hire him back on to help with some of the writing, like to
Right.
come back on to get his advice on certain things. So it's like
Right.
you pay me and you pay me more money to fix things or to try to help you fix things or at least
Yeah.
steer you in the right direction. He's making money regardless.
He's set.
Yeah.
He's set.
Yeah. I just want to know what was in that contract because basically I felt like it was something where they're really trying to get away from the original trilogy
Well, yeah. Well, see,
to
you know what they said.
the royalties or something.
Well, see, the thing is, the stipulation was of the contract, and this is why George was kind of, really upset. The stipulation in the contract was when he, sold Lucasfilms, he also even sold them the idea for episodes 9 or 7, 8, and 9. Like he actually sold them his copy or his treatment of it, and they told him, "Oh yeah, we'll most definitely," and then they scrapped it as soon as they got the deeds to it.
Yeah.
So that's what he was upset about.
It was a bait and switch, basically.
pretty much.
And I think that's why he was supposed to be an advisor for the trilogy, but that's why he left.
Yeah.
And I think Bob Iger even said it in his book that I think he apologized for reading some of the critics what they said about the prequels, not realizing that that was only like a small faction of people that didn't like the prequels.
Right. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. But I think what Joe said, I think the comment is going to hold true, just in my opinion. Like, I like the sequels, but also I'm not completely like void to logic. Like, there's definitely some issues with them. Like, Kans and I, like, the continuity is just not quite there. I mean, like, clearly Ryan Johnson just threw a nuke in the whole thing, and then JJ had to kind of like scrap it together at the end
and fix it
so
up.
Yeah, the only way I see them fixing it is with a Mandalorian. I
filling
think
the gaps.
filling the gaps. We get a Kylo Ren backstory. All these things like that kind of like explain why Luke is the way he was.
They can give us a world between worlds again.
I'm telling you, that's the reason why.
Fix
and
it.
the Ahsoka show is not even like it's a limited show, right? It's a one shot and that's it. And why is the world between worlds in the poster? That's my what are they doing? What are they planning?
Never know.
You got to think about that, and World Between Worlds is basically a time travel gate,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. All right, guys. So with that said, this is going to be our next topic, and it kind of ties in to the previous one. So, and this one I actually don't have the list already preloaded. So what we're going to do is just kind of go through them 5 to 1 like we have done. Yeah. So top 5 comic book or Star Wars films. So this is very similar question, but this one's more so about films. And PJ, I mean, I guess we've excluded shows from this one, so you can't say The Mandalorian. But if we could, we know that would probably be like your number 1. But otherwise, like, we're just gonna have to stick to films. So it's really not too bad, but it's still be good.
No, well, we're talking about it in the chat, and you gave us like the topics. We're like, oh, I could go with this. This is pretty good. And all of a sudden, you like threw a wrench in that, like, that's too easy. We're gonna make it like super hard, mixing everything, and you're like, oh,
yeah. I wanted to make it more challenging. It's like a test where I just changed the questions.
I was like, oh my goodness. All right, so this is actually pretty easy for me.
Okay, let's go, PJ.
Number 5 is The Dark Knight. The reason why I say I'm not a big DC guy, but man, do I love this film. I mean, hence why I'm getting like 3 Jokers like you. I just love. I mean, Christian Bale's performance could have been better. I wish he didn't overact. Like, where's the ball? I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And how is his throat like not like hurting him after like
Yeah.
a month of filming. So yeah, Dark Knight, it was just one of those where I really appreciated Batman, the franchise, and I just loved what Nolan did with that whole movie. Yeah. It was like a twist upon twist, and you're just like, and you're seeing Joker, how, oh my gosh, like how crazy he is, and how even though he's crazy, he knows what he's doing. He had like a plan for everything, and what he wanted to do with society. It wasn't even about the money. He just wanted to cause chaos, and that, I don't know. I just love that movie. Number 4, Infinity War. Infinity War was just one of those where right off the bat, like, with Loki dying, with the emotional scene with him and Thor crying for his brother, even though they were like always kind of like back and forth and fighting each other. At the end of that scene, you're like, oh man, they really loved each other, no matter, even though they had their differences. Thanos just kicking butt, man, like from beginning to end, just like, it was just such a big, huge roller coaster ride from beginning to end. There was no like breather. You might have a little breather here and there, but it was just like boom from beginning to end.
Right.
Number 3, I would have to say A New Hope. The reason why I say A New Hope, and it's not the best Star Wars movie, but it was just one of those where it was the beginning. It was the introduction to to the world that we love, or the universe that, a lot of that we love, and number 2, obviously pretty straightforward. Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith holds dear to my heart. I could watch that movie over and over again. I listened to the one of the soundtrack songs from there, Battle of the Heroes, the fight between Anakin versus Obi-Wan. I don't know, I see like a trend here. It's like the trend is that like I like bad guys winning.
Yeah,
right,
kind of like me too.
Yeah, it's just like Dark Knight, like, Batman kind of wins because he killed, Batman's loved one, Infinity War, the bad guys lose. I mean, the bad guys win. A New Hope, you could say that it was not really dark, but anyway, yeah. So Revenge of the Sith number 2, and number 1 is obviously Empire Strikes Back. That is just what really, really got me into Star Wars. I remember Christmas Eve over at my uncle's house, and him popping that VHS when I was like 6 or 7. And I was just like, what is this? What is this? Who is that guy? Who is that guy with the mask? Darth Vader. Boom.
Yep.
What do you mean, like, the bad guys win? What are you talking about? What do you mean Vader is Luke's father? What are you talking about? So, yeah.
Interesting. That's a great list, PJ.
Yeah.
So, Optical. Let's do yours. Hit me with your top 5.
My 5 would probably surprise a lot of people. I removed Infinity War. I'm going to put Days of Future Past for number 5.
Really?
Love X-Men. Love Fassbender Magneto. If you wanted time travel, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past. Obviously, it's a different dynamics there, but I don't know. I love X-Men, and I think this is the best X-Men movie. I feel like the iteration and whatever. I don't know. I just like Fassbender Magneto. My number 4 would be Two Towers, for everything that I explained earlier. I just love the idea that it's kind of like, they lost in the first one. The second one, they redeemed themselves, and you got this, they're protecting this castle and all. The fight scenes are just awesome. Just brings back so many memories. My number 3 would be Man of Steel. This is the first time that we've seen Superman in this light. He's always been the Boy Scout that's, drinking your vitamins, saying your prayers. Now he wants to punch the kid. Now he doesn't care about like other people, like buildings are being broken and all that stuff. I just love Zack Snyder's take on it. I know Will does not, but
most people somehow do now. Like, again, another time thing.
Yeah, but I just love the way he tackled Superman, and a lot of people didn't like it because it kind of quote unquote didn't stay true to the comics. He didn't save a plane that's crashing down, or he didn't save a cat from the tree. Where when it was shown, it was what, like 2013. Yeah, it's a different time. I think it was just like good for that time. My number two would be Logan. Just love Logan. Uh, got saw that movie. It wasn't your typical superhero movie. You saw all of his flaws. You see one of the most strongest characters out there deteriorating in front of your eyes, and it's like a father daughter dynamic there. It's and the way it ended. It's like he died. You just spoiler alert. You haven't seen it in 4 years. It's your fault. He died. It's just like they put a period on it. It was like, oh, maybe he'll come back. No, he's not coming back. This is not Infinity War. He died. Last one I would say is Dark Knight. We've all said good things about it. That's one thing. That and Logan. Logan is not even heavy on fight scenes, but I can watch it over and over. So is Dark Knight. There's not a memorable scene where it's like, oh, remember when they were like doing that? Not like Endgame. They didn't cheat the audience with high CGI effects and all that stuff. It's just good movie, and it was shot in Chicago, so we're Gotham.
There we go. Right.
We are
probably not. Probably
so that's the reason why you like Dark Knight. Because it was
He's a Chicago homer.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but that was my list.
Okay, that's an awesome list.
That's a good list.
All right, so Leao, hit me with your list.
Okay, so my number 5, since we're on the topic of Logan, was Logan. I actually had that sits at number 5 because, like I said, I mean, we have to see him at his, his worst. I'm a huge X-23 fan, so finally seeing her introduced and how well they did that character was amazing. I was just mainly I like the character struggle, and we see those flaws on film, and it's just the human dynamic. It's not all about just punches and powers, you know what I mean? It's about just the story itself. So we got a solid story. I actually felt as though Hugh Jackman should have been nominated for an Academy Award with his performance, and as Logan, as emotional as it was, even him, burying Professor X. Spoilers again if you haven't seen this on you.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, yeah.
At this point, yeah.
Exactly. Him burying Professor X, and just the emotions that he had with that particular one scene was amazing. So I love that. My number 4, Rogue One. And that's just because, seeing Rogue One on screen and just knowing what was talked about the film, just the characters, just the host of characters they had in the film. Seeing Donnie Yen on camera was amazing. Finally, and just like I said, just the dynamic, it reminded me of what was the film? It's the old Western film where pretty much every character dies in the film. It was
Seven.
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
It sort of like had the elements of the Magnificent Seven. And I really gravitated to that. General story, Chirrut's story of being, just part of the Wills. It was just, I just embraced it. And then that the nail in the coffin was just basically the end scene with Vader. I mean, that was just incredible to me. And it was the nostalgia. It felt like a Star Wars film, especially like coming off of, Force Awakens. And then we got that. It was just something to look forward to. Number 3 for me, without a doubt, Winter Soldier. I just, I loved the Winter Soldier. I mean, that's probably my favorite Marvel film, hands down. That's Winter Soldier is my Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean? Because of how the film was done. I mean, it's the most talked about, but it was done so well, so well, fleshed out so well. There's the narrative, the story behind it. It was, Bucky himself was terrifying, you know what I mean, as a character, and unstoppable. You know what I mean? He had a mission, he wanted to achieve it, and just the struggle between knowing that, you're realizing now that it is your best friend that you're fighting, but you have a mission and your mind, and anybody who basically deals with mental health, for that character, it speaks volumes for a lot of people, you know what I mean? So, that alone was reason enough to really love that film and place it where I placed it. Then we have, of course, for me, Return of the Jedi was number 2.
Uh-huh.
I love Jedi, coming off of Empire, just basically seeing the hero's journey, seeing the development of Luke, to the Jedi master himself. You know what I mean? It was just that when, but knowing that he had to actually, in order for him to get that title or to actually become a Jedi, he had to face his father, and helping his father or believing in his father, like regardless of anybody else, believing that his father could be redeemed and seeing something in his father that no one else actually seen. My favorite scene, and a lot of people actually would call me crazy, was just the indoor scene with the speeder bikes, like going through.
Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, I'm saying this because I'm dated. When I saw that scene, the first time I saw it was on Cisco and Ebert, when they actually used to they were the first critics on television that would, they would critique certain films, and they were the ones who showed the trailer for the very first time. And when I saw that scene, I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? So it was amazing. So that's, Jedi will always have a place in my heart. And number one, of course, is Empire. Empire is Empire. You know what I mean? Like, just everything that we got from that film. Just seeing that cliffhanger in the very end, the villain actually won. Our entry and seeing Slave One and Boba Fett, for the first time, or well, not the first time, but around that time it was the first time, because we hadn't seen the edited extended version of New Hope when he was actually, tossed in there. But it was the first time we actually got a chance to see his plug line and his story. Just the development. Kirshner as a director was brilliant in the pacing of the film, in between, us actually seeing, Dagobah, and Yoda, his presence, you know what I mean? It was like, who would have thought like a puppet, you know what I mean? Some would have so much presence at that point, but it really did. Luke's story, that's the first time like you're rooting for a hero, and to see a hero in a Star Wars film lose his hand, I was like, wow, like you know what I mean? That was incredible.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the terror, and then Lando Calrissian, I mean, come on, smooth dude, you know what I mean?
Right.
Colt 45 himself. You know what I mean? Like, just seeing that on screen, and just the whole chemistry, the character. The thing is, it's like with a film like that, and with Star Wars in general, just mainly the main films. It was the dynamic between the characters and how they bounced off of each other, and we got that with them. You know what I mean? And that's what I try, with the original films, that's what I gravitated. I want a good story, but I also want character development. I want to see the characters, the hero's journey, and where they're going. You know what I mean? And how they all come together in the end. And that's what kind of made it, really spectacular for me. But yeah, Empire is always going to be number one. So yeah, that's my list.
All right, guys. So I'm going to roll through this pretty quickly, I think, because we got one more topic here, and I definitely want to get to that one, but we still have time. Mm-hmm. So with mine, kind of like what I've talked about already, like you can kind of see a little bit of a trend here, but I kind of got it pretty well balanced, I think. 5, Winter Soldier, like the guys have talked about already. That's definitely the best solo Marvel film. It's like, to me, hands down, like that one's just incredible. I watched it again probably like 6 months back, and I was like, I forgot how incredible this movie is. Like, I always knew it was great, but I watched it again, I'm like, this holds up super well. Bucky has never been cooler. His outfits have all paled in comparison to that one. I mean, that is GOAT Bucky. Like, there's no better Bucky. And that's just an amazing film through and through. And it feels different from Marvel, from their formula. But it's great. Force Awakens, that's actually my favorite Star Wars film because, again, like that was the film that made me a Star Wars fan. So, and I love that one. And I understand kind of where the trilogy goes for a lot of people. But for me, I still really like the sequels. And Force Awakens introduced me to Kylo. I love Rey. I love Finn. I love all those characters. So Force Awakens was fantastic. It revitalized Star Wars at the time, and gave people something familiar that they liked. And then Last Jedi came out, and then they didn't like Force Awakens anymore because they didn't like where it went. But the Avengers 1, number 3. That's another gateway film for me. That was my big Marvel fandom film. That was the film for me that made me a Marvel fan. So I love it. I love Loki, obviously. The Dark Knight, obviously number 2. Like that one is incredible. One of the best films ever made, not just comic book, superhero, whatever, just period, in my opinion. It's the best of the trilogy, in my opinion, hands down, which we all agree. And then Avengers Infinity War, like we've discussed, that one's incredible. I've never seen a film like an Avengers film like that, where like the villain actually wins and it's so dark and it's so unexpected. Like that's how to subvert expectations in a good way. Like no one expected Thanos to dust everybody, and he did, right? Like, Last Jedi things happen and you're like, I didn't expect that, but it also doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Infinity War, like this makes sense. It's subverted. It goes against what you expected, but it ended up great. So it's just incredible. It's Marvel's best film to me. So with that said,
Yep.
Final topic of the night. PJ, you have any more comments? Sorry.
Oh no. I see. Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, brand universe loyalty. So let me introduce this topic a little bit. What I'm going to say about this is what I've seen recently because of the Snyder Cut has kind of revitalized this whole thing. This just proves DC is better than Marvel, right? This just proves that Marvel is better than DC because Snyder Cut sucks, right, to some people, right? So those kind of conversations, where do you guys fall on that? Because I feel like that's such a bad mindset to get into.
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of like you can compare things, that's totally fine. But in my opinion, like, I feel like people have this brand or universe loyalty where like they can't see anything else. They only want to like DC and they hate everything else. They only want to like PlayStation and they hate Xbox, right? They only want to like Mac and they hate Windows. Like, you know what I mean? And that's fine to dislike something if you genuinely dislike it, but don't have tunnel vision. You know what I mean? But what do you guys think?
I think because I like this topic, and I'm glad you basically put this in, because the thing is, the success for one is a success for all. You know what I mean? Like, the success for Snyder Cut means the success for comic books, comic book movies and genre in general. You know what I mean? So I don't live off of brand loyalty. I like both DC. I like Marvel. I like them all as a whole. And I want success for both. You know what I mean? So to say just because of the success of the Justice League and the Snyder Cut that proves that what it proves is that you can write a solid story. You can give a director his go and let him basically see his vision the whole way through. It's not to say that one is better than the other. Yes, I love, and you probably seen this earlier, I have now watched officially Justice League 14 times.
Oh, good Lord.
Snyder Cut 14 times?
I mean, yes.
Look at Optical's face.
But you have to understand.
A long time.
You have to understand why is because, like I said, I work from home. Now, the reason why I fit certain things in is because while I'm working, I may have it on in the background just for noise. So I may not be directly watching it, but it's on for noise, and it's 52
52 hours, well, 52 hours.
Hey, but listen.
That's a good math, Optical.
Listen, if you and the way my shifts are each individual day, I'm 4 hours on it during the day, and I'm 4 hours on at night. So if I have it on and I'm watching it that many times, just because of the noise in the background, so literally 14 times is record for 4 hours for me. But anyway, it's not to say that, like I said, the film itself is great, and I'm glad we got a chance to see it. But it doesn't say that it's better than Marvel. It doesn't basically say that it's better than any other DC film. It just says it's a quality film, and it's great that we actually got a quality film. So this brand versus universal loyalty, I think it doesn't do anything else but hurt. It hurts the genre in general, because it basically causes so much division, and then people are just always, griping, and then you yourself and people who are and have their own personal opinion, you can't voice your opinion without being attacked by someone else, because like I said, someone's butt hurt just because you say something about a film that you like. You know what I mean? Like you say, I love this film. I just enjoyed it. Well, no, how can you like that? Because I like it.
I've gotten that for the sequel trilogy for a while. So
you know what I mean? Like, it's just basically
how dare you?
Yeah, like, so it's this, all it's doing at the end of the day. Now it helps for it's and sometimes it can create healthy discussions, but at the same time, it's more so unhealthy discussions, unhealthy banter back and forth. It creates division. People get hurt, and then, like I said, you're dealing with some people that are highly sensitive, about the topic, and some people that are sensitive in a good way, some people that are sensitive in a terrible way. You know what I mean? Because of how they lash out. And I'm like, yo, just enjoy the simple fact that we are getting these films. Enjoy the simple fact that, people are willing to take risks and give fans, comic book fans, Star Wars fans, as a whole, something to enjoy. You know what I mean? Brand versus universal loyalty. That it's a good topic, but it's like people who delve into all that and cause division, I just kind of stay away from.
Optical, where do you lie on this one?
It's dumb. Well, we talked about it earlier. There's like a different and it's bad, because otherwise monopoly is always bad. Imagine if there's like Hot Toys. That's why Hot Toys can raise their prices, because they monopolize things. If there's only DC, they're going to give us crap movies all the time. Or if it's only Marvel, they're always going to give us like Captain Marvel. Every movie's like Captain. They don't need to exert effort, right? Now there's DC, and DC fans hate Marvel fans. Marvel fans hate DC fans. And then there's Star Wars fans who hate other Star Wars fans.
So exactly.
There's different dynamics to that. I mean, as a movie fan, like Captain Marvel is not going to be better if Justice League sucks.
Right.
Captain Marvel is still going to be Captain Marvel.
Exactly.
Right. So now with the success of Snyder Cut, it doesn't devalue Infinity War for me, for example. So there's no point on me bringing down Snyder Cut, right? So
exactly.
I don't like it. Now I get it if you're young, if you're a 9-year-old boy and you bought an Xbox and then your neighbor has a PS4 and now you can't buy both. So now you feel it's like, well, Xbox is good because it has Halo. I understand that because he's 9. But if you're not 9, so what if you're a grown adult going to, let's say, Facebook on sideshow groups? It's like, well, Snyder Cut is 4 hours. Well, dude, you don't need to watch it. It was like, you could, we have choices. It was like, do I love Captain Marvel? No, I actually didn't. The film is enjoyable, but I'm not gonna rewatch it again. I'm not gonna go out of my way to go to the forums. Well, Brie Larson is a horrible actress, because she's not. I just didn't enjoy it. Moved on with my life. I let others enjoy. If they enjoyed Captain Marvel, good for you. At least you enjoyed something that I never liked. There's always something for someone. It's like me owning Canon. If I wanted Sony to fail, that means Canon's price is just going to go up. It doesn't make any sense. So I hope Sony does good so that more Canon would be better, even though I would be loyal to Canon brand-wise because I've used Canon all my life. But I want Sony push Canon. It's kind of like that. They're pushing one or the other. Now with Star Wars, I kind of get it because I was never, Star Wars is an entire universe by itself, and they feel like it's sacred, that if you touch this portion of it because of the continuity of it, that was like, wait a second, you are devaluing Luke Skywalker. So I get it in that standpoint. Now with Marvel and DC, I mean, it changes all the time. 5 years from now, we're gonna have a new Tony Stark. Like it's they recasting and all that stuff. There's no point on devaluing Snyder Cut or putting it. I mean, let's be honest, Snyder Cut is not better than Infinity War, but there's no point on arguing which one is better. They're both good. Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
exactly. It's good. It has, every movie has its place, and it has its demographic of fans. But I mean, just let the fans have it.
Yeah, especially when they're grown men arguing about this. It was like, well, you enjoy your 4 hours. It was like, I did. Just obviously you found the time to post here. So
what do you think, PJ?
Star Wars is the number one thing ever. Okay?
Star Wars is the only thing, and that's the only loyalty you need.
No, see, the thing is, like, coming from a Star Wars fan, I grew up with He-Man, Thundercats, all Bionic 6. I enjoyed all of them.
Bionic 6, yes.
Yeah, Mask, Star Wars.
They need to make a book.
Rambo. I love it all. Predator. And I just don't get this Marvel versus DC thing, or like, and I see it in the groups where
it's toxic, bro.
I mean, it is. It's just like,
it's so
toxic. Is it fair? Is your opinion fair?
Yeah.
Is because okay, and that's the thing. Like, someone might say, the Snyder Cut sucks, but what's the underlying layer of it? Like, is he a DC fan and he just hates all Marvel? And that's why people can't, it just sucks because now, like, everyone's opinionated, especially with Facebook and Instagram and all these social media sites. And, growing up, you never really got that. When you talk about, even if we all grew up together, I'll be talking to Will and explaining my point of view of why I disliked the Snyder Cut or I disliked the Infinity War, and he would understand. But now we got this platform when someone goes, it was boring, it sucks, it's Snyder Cut, you guys are, like, it's just like,
for what?
We don't know what's their reason. And I hate the fact that people can't explain themselves. Why do you dislike this movie? What is it? Was it the pacing? Was it the storyline? What is it? And they can't explain it. And it's just this ongoing issue. And that's why, like, sometimes, like, social media is just tearing everybody apart. And I'm not trying to just, I'm not trying to, like, bash on social media, but now it's just like every voice is, elevated higher, like everyone's loud, mostly the negative people. And usually you got
certain sites, that really perpetuate that type of behavior, and that's terrible.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Exactly. And for me, I love all. I enjoyed the Snyder Cut. I I enjoyed Infinity War. I enjoyed Marvel. I'm a Star Wars guy, but I enjoy all these movies. And to me, I just don't understand that. I have Xbox, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and basically a PC. I love all of them. No, I'm not gonna say Xbox is better than PS5. I might play PS5 more because they have more games on it than Xbox, but I'm not gonna say, because if you look at the specs, they're the same ish.
Yeah,
It's the same ish.
Yeah,
you know what's the difference? Games, okay,
right?
So I don't know. I just don't get this with the Star Wars fans and stuff like that. Star Wars fans versus Star Wars fans. It's mostly, I feel that with the sequel trilogy, I'm gonna say it. The reason why there was such a big, huge division, because Will and I, we see differently with the sequel trilogy, right? Will likes it. I don't really like it, but here we are, still friends, and we're not arguing over it.
Are you though?
And, I argue with him with Frozen.
Private, Frozen. There's no argument, PJ. There's no argument.
But
argue.
But the thing is with the sequel trilogies and why people, it's because I have a feeling that they're like, the people that are like toxic online are not really Star Wars fans. They're not really They're the ones. They're probably like the Marvel fans or the DC fans that came in to the Star Wars groups to cause ruckus, to say, because it's one of those things when
people
you have
want to be heard. That's they just want it negative. They just want to be heard. They just want to follow you.
I have a lot of burner accounts, by the way. So.
Yeah, but
I knew you did, Optical. I knew it was you. It was this whole time.
But the thing was, it's like I have a feeling, to see like kind of like Star Wars not being on top, I see people taking advantage of that. Like with that, and they voice it. They love the fact that Luke Skywalker is the way he is. They don't understand the whole story behind that. Why people are really disgusted, especially we don't have a backstory and why he became this way. It's not like we're saying, oh, he should be this way and that's how he is, that's his personality. But we never got an explanation why he became who he is. And that's what a lot of the people that didn't like The Last Jedi and didn't like the sequel trilogy is, because we didn't get the explanation. And we are just like, what, dumbfounded of how he became who he is. But other people, toxic people, came in and took advantage of that situation and just escalated this division even more. And they loved it. And they loved it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Sorry. I got a little heated there.
No, that's fair. Go on the rant. I mean, if you feel that way, absolutely. Because I would kind of echo what you guys have said. I mean, like, if you genuinely dislike Marvel or you genuinely dislike DC and you favor one over the other, that's absolutely fine. That's fine to have a preference, right? That's totally normal. But what I'll say is, like, to trash something, like, because I think kind of the common behavior nowadays that I've seen, at least, that's become normalized, is if I don't like it, it sucks. Right. Like, but maybe the way you could approach it is, you don't like it, but it's just not for you, maybe. But other people really like it. That's kind of how I approach things. Like, a lot of times if I go in to review a film and I'm like, I know everyone's liking this film, I didn't really like it, I'll kind of say, like, here's my issues with it. Here's why I didn't like it. But I understand maybe it's just not for me. Like, other people might like this. Right. And I recognize they do. So instead of saying it's trash and you're trash for liking it, you could approach things much more respectfully and more like an adult and say, like, hey, like, I didn't like X, Y, and Z, this and that, so forth. But as long as no one should be attacked for expressing their opinion, I think we all are in agreement for that. Like, and what I'll say, I've said this numerous times on your both live streams, like stand your ground on this. Like, if you feel like, if you can back up your opinion and you have a genuine opinion that's different, don't be different just to be different. But if you have an opinion, stand your ground on it. Like, don't feel like you have to conform inside this ideological box of this one view. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, everyone hates sequels. That's been decided. It's like common perception at this point. So I must hate them too. Like, no, I don't. I like the sequels. And, like, I'm fine to admit that. I mean, I'm happy to.
Am I supposed to hate you because you like them? No.
Right.
That's your opinion. and it's good. Like I said, opinions, opinions formulate the world. But at the same time, it's like to trash somebody because their opinion, to really completely destroy a person because of their beliefs or how they file. I mean, come on. I mean, look, I respect you for your opinion. I may not like it. I mean, I agree with it. I mean, but that's your opinion, and you're allowed to actually have it. Your rage over, me having rage over your opinion and how you are, and me trying to, to change you as a person, change your perception. That's
and if we speak to, like, sorry PJ, real quick, like, and if we speak to that, probably honestly, openly admit this transparently, probably a reason I like the sequels more than you guys is probably because I didn't have as much of a connection to the original characters as everyone else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, because I had seen Star Wars, my aunt was like a huge fan, and I always watched with my parents and stuff. I saw Phantom Menace in the theaters. I saw all of them in the theaters, I'm pretty sure, when I was younger, and I always enjoyed them, but I was never like this mega Star Wars fan. You know what I mean? And that's probably why, like, I'm not as upset about the treatment of certain OG characters, like, because I'm not as connected to them. I am now, but I wasn't as connected to them coming in as you guys were.
Yeah, and as a longtime fan, seeing that, like, the sequels brought you into the Star Wars universe and you becoming a fan, I'm happy about that. And to be honest, like, Will, like, you have different opinions, but look at us here. We're all getting along here. Because why? You're not coming, like, we're not coming in here and saying sequels suck. And you're like, why, PJ? Because they suck. All right? And that's what you see not only with movies, but with collectibles. When someone goes, it's trash, that looks like crap. Okay, can you explain yourself? It just looks like crap, okay? Snyder Cut. It's so slow. Why? It's just slow. You're like, dude, just shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just like, you're just negative.
But you know what? You find it that if again, people is clickbait. A lot of it is that people will actually they'll have opinions, and they'll want you to respond to it, so they egg them on, so they can continue to talk about it, continue to draw attention to them. So even like if I put up posts, if I put up certain things, which is my opinion, I can't control what people say. I can't. I mean, whatever your opinion is, and I'm not going to actually respond to it. I'm not even going to say I respect that. I'm just going to let you talk. You know what I mean? I obviously, when I put up my post, it was my opinion, and I just let it go. Then that's just basically the way it is. You can say what you want. I'm not going to respond because I'm not getting drawn into that. You know what I mean? I just have my own personal opinion. So that's what it is.
And that's the one thing with with statues and stuff like that, because there's other people out there that just say the things they say because they think that they have this platform, or whether it be social media or YouTube, they could say whatever they want to say without any repercussions. But you have to understand is that, like, you may trash a piece, but someone else owns that piece, and it may, like you said, it may not be for you, but it may be for someone else. And but then people get butthurt when people trash your piece. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what it comes down to is that a lot of people like us who are just like not as opinionated or not as negative or toxic as these other fans, we just stay quiet because it just takes too much energy to argue with them. And guess who? And that's how it creates this environment where the negative people have the loudest voices. Right? Because the people who are positive about the things and they like it are quiet because they just don't want to argue with these negative people.
Like me, I never argue in any of the groups.
Well, you and I, we argue all the time because you hurt Optical's feelings about the Man of Steel.
That's true. Optical was deeply hurt about that.
Yeah.
All I can
horrible character anyway, so.
But you see how we joke around and how
all I can say, guys.
Fun?
Release Cyborg.
Oh God.
Okay. All I can say, hashtag release Cyborg.
Release it. Come on.
Release it. Release it, guys.
Now.
It's release it now, and I'm actually covering up PJ's face, so I'm gonna get rid of this. But release Cyborg.
Let's go. Release it ASAP.
It's gonna come.
PJ, are you officially saying it's coming?
I'm making that bold prediction. It's coming.
Okay.
It's too good of a it's too good of an opportunity for Hot Toys not to take advantage of, man. Because everybody has completed the line. The whole line is sold out,
Right.
So
I heard the rumor is Nightmare Flash, Nightmare Deathstroke, and then Cyborg. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be nice.
Are you gonna get them all Optical? If that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
case?
So wait a
Yeah.
minute, they're doing a Nightmare Flash.
That's what I heard.
He's gonna have a
That's
stash.
those going around the groups. That's the rumor.
Yeah.
So they're doing Nightmare Flash, Nightmare Deathstroke, and
Right.
then
And then Cyborg too. Yep. It'd be cool if they did a mirror, but probably not going to happen. But like,
just do Cyborg first. They know
Right.
that basically people want this figure. Like, give us Cyborg first. It's not.
I think they will. I think he'd go up first. I think
Yeah.
he'd go up for pre-order first.
Yeah.
I think there's this misconception that it's hard to make this figure. Now, let me ask you guys, like, looking at this figure, is it really hard to make?
I don't think so.
Justin?
I don't think so.
I don't know who said it, but I know there's this misconception that going around that it's
The
hard.
thing with Hot Toys though is like we always kind of want to give them a pass, kind of like, well, you know, why we're gonna engineer. We're talk about this like like it's our business. Like, why would they engineer this new character? Where they, well, it's just
Right.
true, you know, if we're thinking about them like as a business, but you know, that's why they make so many
Yeah.
stormtroopers, because that's easy.
Exactly.
But
Right.
you know, at the same time, if you keep on harping that, because they know this is going on, and then not only that you harping, you keep on buying those things, then you're giving them a pass. Basically, I was like, oh, yep,
Right.
let's give the short trooper another rank. You know what? Don't buy the like that's making it and then make them you know, you're basically giving them a pass. So what if they engineer a new body for this? You're not gonna pay for that, you know. So
No.
who cares? Man?
Yeah.
Let 'em
Yeah.
do it.
Layout. I think this is probably a day one pre-order for all of us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Day one.
that's a dumb question as someone who's watched the movie 14 times. But like, but
Day
seriously,
one.
like,
Day
but
one.
Yeah.
right. It's probably a day one. Honestly, I think this figure would sell really well. But
It
we're gonna
is.
see.
It
We're gonna put
will.
it to we're gonna put it to the test because people have
Because of
been
the
clamoring
demand.
for this.
Yeah.
Because
It will, because how many people own like the rest of the Justice League, and then there's
Right.
this
Yeah.
empty spot that
Right.
has
Exactly.
there's no cyborg.
Exactly.
Like,
It's
you
just
know-
like when people actually had the Guardians.
Guardians
but
and no
they didn't
Drax.
act- and no
And
Drax.
no Drax.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's just basically the way it is. Like they've known in the success of the Snyder Cut, and you know him being like one of the main features. You know, and you know the storyline was just mainly filtered around. Why not? Like they should have done it a long time ago. Why not capitalize on it right now? It is a day one pre-order for a lot of people, and I think they'll get as many pre-orders as needed. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's a hot commodity. Seriously.
Why don't they do that? Do the pre-order, because you have NRD anyway. If you don't hit a certain number of pre-order, then don't make it. You know, at least
yeah.
people kind of know where they stand.
I think that would piss a
figure it out?
lot of people off even more, though. If you
If they do
somehow,
that?
if they did that and then they didn't end up releasing it, then people would be like, I think Hot Toys might burn. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like people already want Hot Toys to burn for not putting this out. If you put it out and then
don't
revoke the
make it?
offer, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, they can be transparent
God.
about it. So, well, it didn't hit X number. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like a Kickstarter.
Hot Toys doesn't
they do that.
communicate.
Yeah,
though.
like
They don't
what
communicate.
like HasLab does. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Kickstarter. You know, kind of like, hey, you know what? If it's really that hard to engineer this, you know, like let's play the devil's advocate here. And if you guys really want it, as a fan service, we're doing a Kickstarter. So, you know, I mean, Tom McFarlane does that, and he's pretty
Yeah.
big. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so.
They did just put Cyborg on that. What was it, PJ? That new store they opened, and they put Cyborg on the display.
Rebel
Yeah.
Base.
Rebel-
Was it
Echo
Echo
Base?
Yeah,
Base?
Rebel
Echo Base.
Base.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, some base.
And
I was
and
there.
they had a picture of Cyborg Hot Toys on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't on display or anything, but like they
was
had a
there.
picture of him. Yep.
And
Yeah,
there's been rumor. I mean, I was just watching a channel yesterday. They said there was, you know, definitely it's coming. They said they didn't know it was going to be at the end of this week or next week, but it's definitely coming. And the way, you know, Hot Toys has been, like they are randomly releasing figures on days that you don't really expect it to come.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
They do it like.
Nothing's-
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, PJ.
I was gonna say real quick, like it's been, you know, I'm trying to be optical with the preview videos, but they've been putting these these videos like really late at night. It happened
Right.
right after my live stream where, you know, I actually was able to be optical. You know,
Once, yeah, congratulations.
The one and only time.
the one and only time. And then next thing you know, they're like, "Yo, what you talk to Howard Chan optical?" You're like, "Yo, stop doing it. Do it when PJ's sleeping." You know?
Yeah.
Nothing, man.
You know what I just noticed? He actually has a mother box behind him. I don't think any of the
Yeah.
figures came with one, did they? The other ones?
Yeah, well,
They all did.
Did they?
Because
See, I don't own any of them. So.
Aquaman came with one. Wonder Woman came with.
I think if it's Sideshow exclusive, some of them.
Yeah,
gotcha. See, I don't know.
He would
any
actually,
of them.
of course, would come with the change machine. So definitely, yeah.
The problem with Sideshow is that I mean, Hot Toys. This could be Drax. Like a lot of people were like asking for Drax, and then when it got released, no one really bought it.
I think that kind of happened with Nebula too.
Yeah, and what happens too is that like that's why there's pre-orders. They count the numbers. And this is why people was like, hey, man, if you want a figure to be, somewhat rare, kind of like Heavy Mando, then don't let everyone pre-order it. Because now there's going to be finite number of what they're going to do. That's why Heavy Mando is sought after, because no one really pre-ordered that. No one, they slept on it. I was like, whatever, man. And there's a reason why. Because Heavy Mando is, it's not
it's
really
kind of a one-off character.
It's a one-off. And a lot of people will be like, well, I think we're going to be, like the last time we're going to see it. Really? It was like I've seen like a lot of recasts, right? Well, they need a reason. I was like, Whiplash has no reason. They just reissued.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mark V was 2 years ago, and it's here now.
Dude, I'm some of these reissues, like I'm totally fine with, just because I don't have them. So like, and I'm fine honestly with reissues in general. That could be a topic for another night. But like, I think Cyborg would sell well. But now I saw Nebula just sold out. So like, she just sold out recently. Finally on Sideshow, she did. Yeah.
So, and also a Rocket too.
Yeah, Rocket, like you could got him for way cheaper though. All this
I got
time.
him for like 150.
Right, like he was dropping big time. Like he was. I paid retail for him like a dummy, but like because I pre-ordered him way back, because I didn't have a Rocket, and I love this one because he doesn't have exposed joints. So I was like, I really like that.
I think
like
those were like Hot Toys, kind of like it's Marvel, it's in Endgame. We're gonna flood the market with this one, and
overproduced.
Never did.
Yeah, and that's what I'm with Cyborg. I don't think that would happen, but I do think it would be a hot pre-order. And I mean, the sculpt. I mean, there's only half a face to get right. I mean, like I think they could pretty much get it right. It's just a matter of Ray Fisher approving it, I guess. But I think he would. So
he would. He's not like, he would.
Because if you just have the helmeted version, I feel like don't even release it at all, because it's like it's just kind of like he very rarely has like maybe one scene with it on when he's flying. Like he's just like, you got to have the sculpted version.
Oh, I wish Hot Toys was stateside, man. I would so storm that.
It would be outside with pickets and signs like release Cyborg.
If they release this guy, I'm pretty sure they're gonna re-release everything. If there's no sense for this to be released, for example, or to be pre-ordered, well, half of the people missed out is just the first Justice League.
Oh, dude, they're gonna reissue all of them. All of them. You know why I say that? Because they're gonna change the box art and to say Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut, yeah.
Right.
They don't even need to do that. Just re-release it.
The only figure that I would probably think that they may, if they re-release it, or they might wait to re-release that character, is Wonder Woman because of the head sculpt.
Because 84 is coming out.
84 is coming out. Yeah, so you might not need to. Or Superman might not, because he never really wore that blue one. It's mostly black. I think did he?
No, it's black. It was black.
He wore black.
He wore the blue one during the Nightmare scene.
Yeah, that's what throws me off with. I really want the Nightmare figure, but he wears the blue suit in Nightmare, and that I really want that one just because that's the look I'm going for. But like, because I want to recapture that Nightmare scene. I want to have Nightmare Batman, and you have the black suit Superman, but he's not wearing that suit in that scene. So it's kind of it's throwing me off. It's throwing off my
and Mira, man, wow! Like I can't.
Do you think we would actually get a Mira figure?
No,
but oh my god,
not unless she plays. Well, it's actually like up in the air whether she's going to be in Aquaman 2 at all. But like if she is, she'd have to play even a bigger role, I think, for them to make her.
I think she will be. I mean, this was like that Nightmare scene was like an added scene. So they got like, even regardless of all the backlash she got, like whatever she did, like she still came back, So
There's no
question.
I think there's still plans for her. I think
right.
Yeah. So. I think she's a good Mira. So
yeah, that works for me. But all right, guys. I think we hit all the topics for tonight. We've gone in for 2 hours.
Oh my goodness! So you're not like optical with the 50,000 topics.
Well, not everyone's as smart as me. So
no, like so Optical's brain's always just moving. He writes down a million things, and like he wrote down all. And honestly, we can use those for multiple live streams. So it's all good. Yeah.
So
but
I
guys,
can't wait for Optical's live stream.
Thanks so
much.
much.
Just do it now.
Yeah, right.
What the hell?
We're turning off this one. We're going to Optical's channel.
Holy jeez.
He's an hour behind us, PJ.
We're doing the
Chicago,
Snyder
so-
Cut version of
It's
live
like a
streaming.
marathon, man.
Yep. And just like Optical did in 2 halves, because this is 2 hours, then we'll do 2 hours on Optical.
2 hours there. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Can you imagine doing a 24-hour live stream of just talking?
there was a guy
Cletus
actually.
did that, but he was sleeping, I think, though, right? Like half the time.
Did he do a live stream?
He did a
24 hours?
24 hours Twitch, but I think he was just,
There's a guy that did one recently I saw in the news, and he got like a bunch of subscribers from it. He actually it's been more than 24 hours. He's been rolling it for like multiple weeks.
I'm
So,
just
like,
scared that they might see doing something else because like
right.
when
You're unpredictable.
hey man, when it's 2 and you wake up and you just go into the bathroom and you don't waste a good
Nope.
But what I was gonna say is that
Oh my god.
I think that's how you get, if you're gonna start off in Twitch, usually you do a 20, like a couple 24-hour live streams, because
Right.
that's how you get the viewers and stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I like that.
and then
Yeah.
I'm too old for that though. I'll be passed out after like the 4th hour. I'm like, oh.
All right. So Optical, as we wrap up, you got anything coming up on your channel?
Absolutely not. So just keeping
Just previews.
Well, actually,
preview after
I'm lying.
preview.
I got Michael Corleone from Present Toys, but that's it.
You got that?
I got that. Yeah,
Nice. It looks
I
great.
love Godfather, so
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have it in hand yet?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It's pretty
So
good.
that's coming up. All right. So PJ, what's going on with you? What's coming up?
I filmed so many things. I just have to sit down and like edit them.
Mhm.
I think I talked to you guys about it. Editing sucks. But I got some, some Star Wars reviews coming up. I got I still have to put up the Hot Toys Grogu. I have a whole bunch of like Hot Toys figures I haven't really like opened up yet. Like I still have the 40th anniversary Boba Fett. I still have my Jabba the Hutt 6-scale figure by Sideshow that I still have to review. I just, the reason why I haven't opened it up yet, because I got the Rancor and I'm just like trying to figure out like how I'm gonna display it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, obviously Sithcast, we've got Lael now, part of the team. He's, one of my co-hosts for the 1/6 order, this Star Wars Hot Toys podcast show we're doing. So really happy to have him aboard. And yeah, please, I'm trying to promote Sithcast as much as possible. So people watching, please subscribe to the Sithcast YouTube channel. And really appreciate that. So
cool. All right, Leo, what's coming up for you?
Hey, I'm still basically, reviewing, putting up like the latest reviews. I still actually, I think the last one that I've actually had to place up is going to be the Iron Suit Spider-Man from the video game. So
okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's with the reflector suit. It actually is. It's an amazing figure. So I can't wait to pretty much get that. I finished the video, edited it, so I just have to put everything up. So that's what's going on there. I am starting a 1/6 scale man. I actually have the 1/6 scale man IG page, but that's going to actually be transitioning into more so how to position and film or take pictures of your photo of your figures. So just giving like more so like just behind the scenes and stuff like that of just photography and how I actually take pictures of the figures and the lighting and the shading and this is my approach towards it. So yeah.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to be reviewing hopefully soon. I got the Ebony Maul from Iron Studios, so that's going to be fun to review. And then Corvus will eventually be coming. I've reviewed Call Obsidian and Proxima so far, so those two are done, and then the rest are going to be coming up soon. So and then I'll probably do a Godzilla vs Kong review at some point soon. I'm going to be changing the format up a little bit, so be on the lookout for that. And then I'm sure I'll be in other live streams with these three fellas.
Definitely,
so,
we got to do the spoiler cut. I mean, it's the
spoiler talk.
I think we need to do what we need to do is a spoiler of Snyder Cut and a spoiler of Godzilla, probably in the same live stream.
Yeah, we should.
So maybe that's the next one. So we'll do that and then some other stuff. But all right, guys. Well, that's it for the first episode. So it was a fun one. We'll have some other ones coming up in the near future. So be on the lookout for that. And peace out. That's all from us for tonight. So have a good one. And thanks for
Peace out, guys.
by.